What's going on, family? How you guys doing? Welcome to Lapeef Let's Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew that we got for tonight. We got Mr. Trey Smooth is in the back. He'll be up shortly. Everybody hates Mott, Miss Pearl, Jay, Willie, True Table, Sharon, Keisha, White, and Day. How y'all doing, family?
Salute, salute. I'm, just getting this way with my daughter, so I'm a little. Give me a couple seconds and I'll be ready.
All right.
Good day,
No
everyone. I'm
problem.
doing well. Thank you for having me.
No doubt, no doubt, man. Good to have you. As you guys come in, do me a favor. I do have a poll question at the top. Go ahead and take that poll. I will be reading those results midway through the show. Maybe I'll go ahead and read it. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. We got an excellent show ahead for you guys. The topic is Has Baddie Culture Turned Beauty into Currency? Tonight, I want to talk to you guys about something deeper than dating. I want to talk about what is shaping girls and young women before they are even fully mature. If culture is teaching attention, sex appeal, and performance early, who is responsible when the results show up later? I'm going to open it up with this question to get us started. Who is shaping young women more today? Parents, social media, men, or other women? I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Miss Pearl. Who is shaping young women more today? Parents, social media, men, or other women? And then we'll go ahead and go around the panel.
Honestly, I would say for parents who don't have their children structured, it would be social media. Men and women dominate social media. So a lot of them are getting their guidance, their ideas of what relationships look like, their value. They're comparing themselves, they're preparing themselves. And a lot of them are, if not all of them, because they're getting misdirection and misinformation. So I would definitely say social media is a incredible influence on these young people and what they think, particularly in relationships.
Okay. Go ahead, Sharon. I'm gonna go to you and let's just try to fill in the gap, y'all. As soon as y'all see that dead space, just come on, chime in. Same question for you, Sharon.
Man, it's such a complex question. Parents like myself that took parenting very seriously. I took my kids out of school. I make sure they're not on social media. They're very limited to seeing social media like Instagram and YouTube. And then we also got people that cannot afford the time to actually focus on their children solely because they got to go to work. So they send their kids off to public school and then they got to go to daycares. They send to grandma or aunties or maybe the neighborhood. It's very complex. And I think what we see is mainly the kids that are raised by social media on social media. The kids that is doing well, that is doing excellent in spelling bees and getting college degrees at a very young age. And we don't push those out because it's not viral enough. People do not focus on healthy relationships with children, parenting, and life. So we see the social media led kids more than the ones that are doing the actual work. They're not visible. That's how I see it. And I would love to, we as a culture, since it's a little dead space, I would love as a culture, we would champion the kids that deserve some light and some visibility that's doing the right things and doing the hard work and putting their head down. That would be a beautiful thing. We could start a culture like that. We got to make smart cool, because we can make everything else cool. We can make degeneracy cool. We can also make smart cool as well, because everybody follow us in reality.
Go ahead, True.
There's a very philosophical question. I think Sharon expanded upon it. I don't think it's one thing. I would say social media probably has the strongest influence because it does dictate typically, just social culture. You could be the strongest parent you want to be. You could be the strongest unit you want to be. But like I've said on these panels before, raising children, raising young girls, young boys has more to do with the community they're in than just the parental unit. And a lot of us do not have strong tribes and strong communities. So without trying to allow the influences, it's gonna leak through, and it's not always bad. I don't remember when I was growing up that prom was such a prominent thing. I think lately you've been seeing these kids celebrate prom like they going to the Grammys, Rolls Royces and whatnot. I'm like, what? You know, so and that's not a bad thing, but it is still influential. It just speaks to how machine and how powerful it is. So I think that social media overwhelmingly has a strong hold on the way people move forward in their life current day. And I'll land.
I agree. Oh, go ahead.
Ladies first. Go ahead, Lakeisha.
I would also agree with everyone else that social media, especially with this generation, shapes daily like reinforcement of ourselves, because social media shows you what's attractive. Social media shows you what gets attention, what relationships look like, what success looks like, what kind of women should be rewarded per se socially. And I also think second to that would be other women. I think that a lot of times we compare ourselves to what I guess it still like boils down to social media, but a lot of times women look at other women and feel like that's how they should be, or that's how they should look, or their femininity should be like this, or their confidence should be like that. So I would think that a lot of women, second to social media, I feel like a lot of women look to women. A lot of trends, a lot of belonging, lifestyle aspirations, the perfect man, perfect everything. I think a lot of women look to other women for that too. So
True. So I want to ask you a question, because you always strike me as someone who's a logical person anytime we have a conversation, and you have been consistently having genuine conversations with people up here. If I went and shot somebody, did the gun kill them or did I?
You did.
Right. And I used the gun as a tool to kill them, right?
Absolutely.
So then why are we blaming social media for influencing women? If it wasn't for women on social media, there would be no influence for girls to have, because girls don't seek out men in mass to be influenced, to aspire to imitate what they see emulated by women, by men. So we're blaming social media, we're blaming the gun for the death. We're blaming social media for the degeneracy and the degradation of the average modern day woman, and saying that social media is what's influencing people, when in actuality, social media is the gun to which women are using to kill little girls.
I mean, I think that's fair. It's a deep question. It's layered. That I approach it as social media because it is one of the most prominent machines. If we're gonna be very, very direct, the influence of all culture is always gonna be man heavy. Social media is just a component of the ideals that are made up in boardrooms, social agendas, and things of that nature. So to your point, it is a tool. And a lot of times who carries out the prominence of a culture typically is like the parrots of society, which are the women. The ideals don't come from women's perspective, though. Most of the time, they don't even have an original idea of what success looks like, what relationships looks like, fantasy, romance. That's us. So if you want to pull it apart, men are definitely responsible for what is occurring. Certain subsets of men. The tool, social media being, because it reaches TV, the same thing. Radio was the same thing. So it is a tool. But if you want to really, really pull it apart, yeah, it is a perspective of certain groups of men who feel it necessary to alter the perspective of people.
So then let me ask you this. If I influence you, right? I say, hey, True, Buddy was talking about your mama. Take this gun and go kill him. And you go do it, right? Who did the killing? You did, right? I still have culpability in that because I put the battery in your back.
Sure.
So following that logic, yes, men can influence women to do something, But if this is the case, then this is dangerously close for men to be spouting or saying that men responsible for this, because that's one of those feminist talking points to say, well, if men didn't like it, women wouldn't do it. And then what that also does is that removes the autonomy from women, because men can influence, request, suggest, say that they like, lead to, encourage women to do whatever. But at the end of the day, women are autonomous adults and humans, and they do what feels good to them. A lot of these women on social media aren't doing that because of men. If you ask them, they'll say they get dressed for themselves. They'll tell you that they go get BBLs for themselves. They'll tell you that they go smell good for themselves and then walk around with the ass out for themselves. So knowing that and assuming that's true, we can't say that men are the leaders in the influencing of women, because if we were, then what we say would matter more than what other women do, and it doesn't.
I think, and then I'll pass it because definitely want to hear other people's perspective. I think that you have a solid point in the way you're delivering it, but I always will look at understanding our real strength and position on this earth, and this is why sometimes it sounds harsh. Women they're autonomous, but their influence is directly tied to us. Now, they do have the ability to have their own thoughts. They do have the ability to, carry out certain abstract actions that we may not agree with. We can go all the way biblical with that and see what happened in the garden, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, what carries on to what is their reaching point of satisfaction, desirability, they're not that original. Like, they say one thing, actions do it completely different. No woman I've ever spoken to has ever been able to tell me what success looks like without it directly mimicking the ideals of a man. So we inject their perspective. We're responsible for how they even formulate thought. Again, that is also biblical. And if we're going to hold men as responsible in being leaders, we have to take account for the fact that some of what we see was echoed. Now, how they decide to carry it out and what we allow them to carry out, again, falls back to us. The behavior that a lot of women exemplify is because men don't place boundaries to say this is not okay. You're one of those men that have strong foundations. Sharon, Trev, and White. So the behavior that the women we have in our life doesn't exemplify the masses. Why? Because we didn't buy into that same propaganda.
Fuck you.
Making a face. Go ahead. What? Oh,
yeah,
man, you know you involved. You know you were part of the crew.
So true. I agree with you so to answer the original question, I think that it's parents about 65 to 70% responsible. The individual is about 30% responsible for how they operate within that. And of the parenting, the father is about 80% responsible of the direction and the flow of the house. So if you allow like crazy stuff to go on and become normalized within your house, or a societal influence like social media or friends to dictate how things run in your house, like if somebody could say, well, my friends got a cell phone, why don't I have one yet? And they in first or second grade, and you let them bully you into that based off of what social media society is doing, that's your fault as a father. You should have said, no, that I see how this can be negative. I see how this can affect you. I see how this can be problematic. No, I don't care who disagrees with that. I feel there's going to be a problem with this, and I'm trying to look out for the best interest of my family. So I'm going to stop this right here. And if you, as a man, selected a wife like you was talking about, or a woman like to raise kids with, they will understand that, hey, this man looks for what's in the best interest of the family. And even if they don't fully understand it, they're going to support you because they know like your track record has been built up of doing what's right behind the family and putting them first. So you're not doing things from a villainous, men are evil, we're trying to attack you stance. It's more so, let me protect you. Let me make sure I put you in the best position to win. And even if you don't understand it, I understand you. So I know where you're going with this. And that boils down to the man. And if you end up in a relationship or a parenting situation where you have zero control over what happens with your child, that also is your fault as a man.
If I could, I think social media has a really big imprint on culture and like the kids, our youth and stuff like that. So like even if your kid doesn't have social media, when they go to school and they're engulfed into the culture in their school, whether they go to private school or whatever, that's going to reach them, right? Like 6, 7, 6, like you don't gotta like you don't gotta like they don't gotta get on social media to be like 6, 7, 6, 7, like and all that type of stuff, right? And to be learning about Roblox and all, like it's touching the other kids regardless. So like it'll end up inevitably reaching your children. And I think the reason that social media is just a little bit bigger than like just women is because it has algorithms, right? So it's not just women being women, right? And certain types of women doing certain things and other types of women doing certain things. It's an algorithm that's going to show you what it wants to show you based on whatever intention it has. It's going to give you and feed you whatever it wants to feed you. So I think that's a little bit different. It's like some people think porn is an issue, and I don't know if we have a porn epidemic or if at a certain point we do have a porn epidemic, but then it's like, okay, who's responsible for the porn epidemic? Do we blame women? Be like, all right, put it on women. Women, you're responsible for the porn epidemic. I don't know, but I don't think that I would say women in that case.
But Mark, if your kids is affected by it,
hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get some of the ladies in real quick. We're gonna stay in it for a second, but I want to hear some of the ladies' perspective. Don't all go at once.
So men, I would agree with True that a lot of times men do influence women too, especially through attention, validation that the women so-called seeking, preferences, I would say. And I think that women be looking for, not saying it's right, but I think a lot of times women or men reward certain behaviors consistently, and then the women, they adapt to those incentives that they get from the men. So, and then the reverse is true at times, but yeah, I kind of see where you're coming from with that, as far as the men go, you guys.
So,
go ahead, Dave.
Oh, Dave, I forgot your story.
Well, I say it's a little bit of social media. It depends of the age. Second is the music that's out there. Like the music from this beautiful girl, what's her name? Red something or Megan
Sexy
Stallion
Red.
saying, fuck them and get some money.
Sexy
Hello, you're promoting it. You go do what you gotta do to get some money. So that is promoting, you know, you want to be a baddie, this is how you're gonna get it. This is how you're gonna get your bag. And you forget that education comes first. That's what you're supposed to be promoting. Like education, why they don't promote stuff like this is the way how to fix your credit. This is the way how you have to get there. If you want to be like this in your 40s, this is what you got to do. Not go screw a man for money. I'm old school, so I don't have to go and do that. I was learned, my mom taught me you got to go and work. You don't just go sleep with a man because he got money. Or that's what social media teach you. You got to be beautiful. You got to be a certain way. You got to do this. It's all over the world. But if you have some brains and beauty, it's better off to use your beauty and the brains. You don't have to go fuck a man to be a baddie. You could be a baddie by yourself. Just go and work and get your own bag. So social media has to do with it because we had a case in St. Martin that was all over social media with a girl. She met with some drug lord and she got killed because she was a baddie. It was all over social media. And not knowing the whole spiel that happened, it's because she saw the man had money in the club. He was giving out money like crazy. She saw that, and guess what happened? Same day she met him, same day she got shot and killed just with him because they had a hit on him. So sometimes you gotta use your brains and not use your, excuse me, how we say in the islands, your twat.
So I feel like we know that this is what's happening, but like the bigger question is, how do we change that? Like, why is it that these girls are looking like, we know that sex sells, but like, how do we shift that culture to prevent that from even happening? Like, why is it that we glorify like, big butts and shaking your ass and being a baddie. Like, why do we glorify that? Like, how do we shift that? Because we know it's what it is.
So
It's men. It's the comeback. It's to men. Men thinks that's the way how it's supposed to be. They want that. That's what men, they pay for that. And women think like, oh, it's easy to get it.
Go ahead,
That's
Sharon.
how it is.
I don't see that reflected reality. The reality is women are starting their own LLCs. They going to school. They are still doing the right thing. They getting jobs. They getting the most highest paid jobs they ever been ever. So I think so what social media has done is get people to focus on just their algorithm. And if your algorithm is filled of BBLs, then that's what you are watching. I don't see all these BBL women in my algorithm because that's not what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about goddamn cars and traveling. So I see a completely different aspect. So when we use social media as a way to say that's what society is doing, I think that we are doing a disservice just to focus on the negativity, because negativity get pushed out you quicker and faster, just like the news. In the news, you watch the news, you don't hear no beautiful stories because it's not normal when you see all these big booty BBLs and they getting shot. That is not normal. So people want to see the not normal thing when they just sit on their phone trying to be distracted from what's going on in life, going to work, dealing with their children. They sit on the toilet watching social media. They want to like, oh my God, did you see the big booty girl where her butt just flipped out inside out? That's what they want to talk about, but that's not reality. That's a whole nother culture, and it's a very small subculture. It's a loud minority, but it's still a minority at the end of the day.
Pearl, you want to go ahead?
So when it comes to influence, I think we influence each other. I think men influence women and women influence men. Just looks differently. In terms of like what can we do to improve, I guess, the expectations of our culture and move from degradation. Oh my God. We got to start like what we say, but we don't do. It's like a shaming culture. Where's the accountability culture? Where's the cancel culture? Why are you all not canceling the whores and the low-hanging fruits and these women of these low caliber? Why are they pedestalized and sexualized? So I feel like it becomes again I was gonna say something. It becomes hypocritical to me. I'm just lay it out there. Because again, people will say they don't want something, but then that's where your attention goes. And then you got all these excuses as to why that's happening instead of just shutting it down, like we've had previous conversations before. But again, people gonna do what they want to do. So the conversation, I just feel like if those women are doing something that is so wrong, it's continuing because people are allowing it and they know it is. People are still watching. People are still viewing it. People are paying for it. So I think until people just really understand what sex and culture and sexuality and sensuality, and we really stop living in this degraded level, and we again have real conversations, because everything is money motivated. So we can talk about canceling it, but it's always going to be somebody that say, well, I got to feed my kids. I got to survive. What you want me to do? So the goal will never slide down the pole. But if that's, I get you, Jay. But again, it's people got to be real about the
I know it's like one of those that
when got a job at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
they
like
want
quick
the
money,
fast money, the fast flip over. But just like Blake said,
yeah,
you end up doing it for years. You get wrapped up in it, like you never get out of that. You still have bills. Like I'm gonna pass to somebody else because I got about 2 sheets worth of this shit. So
I think we got to remember that we're talking about young women, right? Which could potentially be as young as like 12 or whatever we're talking about. But as far as like holding them responsible, for
there's a
their
bad echo.
algorithm.
Somebody's giving feedback. Try to meet up, guys, if you're getting that feedback. Go ahead, man.
I don't think we can hold them responsible the way that we can hold an adult woman responsible for choosing what they see on their algorithm. Like they're young and they stupid. You're going to click on something that's intriguing and something like that. So I just wanted to add that part in there, that if it's a kid, the algorithm, like I don't hold them responsible for, clicking on videos that they shouldn't be clicking on.
it's two points that were made that just don't make sense logically to me. So I just want to ask, ladies. Well, Jay, you said what can we do? And the first thing that you could do is the easy part, and that's cover up and stop showing so much skin online. If you look at every lady on this platform right now, it's a lot of skin showing. If you look at every lady that these women are admiring right now, it's a lot of skin showing. And the easy part, no one is going to do, because Jay, you're proud of your figure. Day, you're proud of your figure. You proud of your figure, Miss Pearl. The same way men are proud of their cars when we get them. We want to drive them. It's the same thing. You would have to change a lot of people's value systems, and that's just not realistic. And then two, Mont said that algorithm, the social media and the algorithm. So the thing is, right? Social media is the gun. The algorithm is the safety. It's the force reset trigger that now turns that gun into an automatic weapon instead of a single fire weapon or a semi-auto weapon. There's no way that you can absolve people of using the thing to do the thing. If nobody used social media, nobody would be influenced by it. But since we do, people are influenced by it. And unfortunately, there's a lot of effeminate men in this space. So I'm not going to say that women don't influence men, but women influence women more than they will influence anybody else. Fat girls look at Jay and be like, damn, I want to be skinny like that. Girls built like little boys look at Lakeisha and say, damn, I want to be built like that. Like, they find women that they identify with, and they like have like the body types they want, and then want to go look like those people. So now your timeline is going to be filled. That little girl's timeline is going to be filled with girls who look like Jake. That's what she's following. The timeline, your algorithm is a reflection of who you are as a social media consumer. So,
but say outside of the algorithm. Say
you
say
can't
outside of that.
We're not saying we can't say outside of the algorithm, because the algorithm is 90% of what you see. You see more things in your algorithm than you do from your followers or the people you follow. So again, and that is all part of your algorithm. If people say, like bro said, he don't see BBLs on his timeline. Cool. Another dude, he might not see BBL because he's looking at BBC. Like, that's the thing. The algorithm is going to show you what it is that you look for and what you search for. So if your algorithm is showing you these things, again, that's you influencing it. Nobody creates a social media account, never logs in, never follows anybody, and then doesn't get to see shit. Nobody does. So we're trying to
we're talking about kids.
The fact that they have a choice. Women choose what they do. Women have autonomy. Y'all swear y'all are the biggest, baddest versions of women that have been alive since our grandmothers were here. Y'all are the best versions of yourselves, but then all of a sudden don't want to take the ownership or own the fact that you guys have a choice in what you do. You could love all the rich men in the world, and rich men say they want A, B, C, D, or E. If women really were to be influenced by men, then there wouldn't be so many trash ass women in the world, because men are telling them not to be trash in mass. The men who are telling women to be trash are these effeminate types, or the ones they don't want to fuck with anyway. So men are impressing women at nearly the clip that women are impressing everybody else.
I get that, and I understand that. However, I do think that when we're talking about these young girls, almost kind of like, I don't know if Miss Pearl was going in this direction, but it's almost like, yeah, we say like, I'm not going to wife this chick who's out there shaking her butt and twerking, but then men are still viewing that. And it's so, and then I'm just saying men are still cheating with that. Or so it's like, then a lot of times these girls are looking up to, and they're like, oh, this is what I want to be, because this girl just got this car and she got her body done. Most of all the celebrities, whether it's rappers or whoever, like, they got their body done, they got the money to pay for all these things, and it's appeasing to the eye. And so these young girls want to get that because it's like, oh, that's going to give me the attention. I know that's not a full excuse, right? But I'm just saying that this is what people are seeing. And I understand that women who are out there, walking around with shorts all the way up to, I just seen somebody the other day, shorts halfway, like cheekies, right? You guys know what cheekies are? Shorts that look like cheekies, walking out on the street.
Boom boom shorts, like we call them in Ireland. Boom boom shorts.
That's what you wear, Jay? You wear those?
No, I don't. Listen, I dance in a carnival, so you can't ask me. I go naked, and I don't give a shit. I'm 48, so I don't give a shit. That's my age.
So
I'm
why?
sorry. I'm in my age and my era that I don't care. That's the thing. I don't disrespect men or women. But what I do is a culture thing. I love carnival and I dance carnival. So yes, I am. When I go to carnival, just like Rihanna, I do dance in carnival. But that's my culture. So for maybe for you guys, it's like, oh my gosh, she's naked. For me, it's like, no, that's my culture. So for me, I'm not naked. So it depends where you're coming from. Because I do wear short stuff. I do, but that's my culture, like I said. So it
You know,
depends where you're coming from. Like
you know where? Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. My bad.
like
Wait, so
girls, when they see my clients, when they come because I have a spa, they come to me. They say like, "Oh, I like the way how you look." I go to the gym 6 days a week, and Jay knows that. So I'm in the gym. I go 3-4 hours a day in the gym to get that body, but I don't go to show it off to men. I do it for myself. So it has nothing to do with men. It has nothing to do about influencing people. It's like, oh, you could be healthy. At our age, we're supposed to be checking what we're eating, what we're doing.
Yeah, but you're not
our
walking
health.
around the streets out here like this. We understand
Hell
carnival
no.
is
No, in carnival, yes. In carnival
that's
time,
something different.
yes,
That's a
my ass is
parade.
out.
We know
But
that.
this is the thing,
but
right?
did you just say
Deep-
Sexy Red and Meg the Stallion culture was trash because they
Right.
were doing this?
It's deeper
But
than that.
beach
No.
culture,
That's why I said in the islands. I don't do it here in America, but in the islands, it's okay. It's hot. It's 100 degrees. You want to wear
yeah,
clothes?
beach.
Everybody
Cut,
and their mother,
we-
even old ladies, are
Yeah,
wearing
cut
shorts.
that out. Cut the clothing. Oh, it's hot, so I got to be naked. Come on now.
So this is the thing,
no,
right?
but beach culture is different. I wanted to talk to.
It's very hard to like for women specifically to not personalize the conversation, to move the context from what we were talking about. We're not talking
Yeah.
about what happens where you're from. We're talking about what happens here in America. So when you personalize it to yourself, of course, people in carnival, that's the culture. That's common sense. But that has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. It has
Okay.
No, actually, it do. It do have a lot to do with it.
A little bit.
I appreciate her sharing.
Hold on,
that.
y'all.
I got
Too many
one
mics. Too many
question.
mics.
Are you on
Too
the
many
Jack
mics.
or
Too
the
many
Chris
mics.
side?
I'll explain to you why it doesn't have anything to do with it. Because the average person in America is not from wherever carnival goes. The average person in America is not allowed to walk outside with their ass out without being judged or shamed for it, as the people who are when they go from carnival. She said it's hot. So this is my point. You're talking about a whole different culture. We're talking about the culture in America. So if you want to talk about, if you wanted to say, okay,
Have you seen these ladies in the wintertime how they dress?
I should be able to slap the shit out of my wife because in Bahrain, in the Middle East, it's allowable. I should be able to walk outside anytime I see my wife not doing something to my liking. I should be able to hit her in the head with a shoe. But because
Ooh, wow, that's very nice. Violence. We like violence then. So
Well,
you're allowed. So you're allowed to hit your woman. That's what you're saying.
Hold on.
Well,
Hey,
they,
you
they
got
do it in the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, they do that in the Caribbean, right? Isn't that part of the culture in the Caribbean?
No, my love.
No,
It depends.
it's not.
No, soft.
It's
No, I
not.
don't
Yes,
think
it
so.
is.
It's no
That's the
culture
place
that
where they
You
have the
Caribbean?
biggest feminine.
Are you?
Yes,
no
that's
Wait,
culture.
bro.
Yeah, America.
Wait, time out.
Yeah.
Hold on
Yeah, by
a
the
second,
stats, that's
Sharon.
what it
You
says by the
Caribbean?
stats. Yeah, by the stats,
Sharon,
that's
you
what it says.
Caribbean?
That's where mostly black people, black women especially, is getting femicide and getting their ass whooped is in the Caribbean. That's what the stats say. So it's not me saying it. That's what the stats say. So it is a culture of women getting their ass whooped by Caribbean black men. It is what it is. That's just the stats. That's just the truth. So we're not going to act like
what are the stats?
shoe
What do the
flying
stats
out
say
the
specifically?
out the yard is something that they doesn't understand. She know that's a serious culture problem that they have, and they are trying to correct it now. They trying to pull back on it as of now, communicating with it. It's been a problem for a long time. They start to recognize it now, which is a good thing.
Yes. Yes.
All right. When you say the Caribbean, what are you talking about though?
It's the state, the territories that make up the Caribbean. I hope.
Yeah.
just talking about all of them.
Yeah,
Like,
so
it
you're
applies
putting
to
it together.
any
That's
certain area.
about as ignorant as just saying African, right? There's 54 countries in Africa. Like it's different cultures in different countries.
So Trev, to be fair, what he's saying is what the African version would be on the continent of Africa. It is hotter than the continent of America because he said that, he intentionally said the Caribbean, and you know that I'm not ever going. I'm Trev Broco, but the statistics do say that the highest rates that black women of femicide is in the Caribbean. He's not wrong there. Like I don't know what the specific number is, but it's higher. It's higher than America. So like that point though is that like outside cultures have nothing to do with this. The conversation we're having tonight, nothing. And it's like it's hard for people to participate in conversations when they are from other cultures without trying to personalize it to them. The only person here from the Caribbean tonight is her. The rest of us are from, or excuse me, my bad. Who are more Americanized or she's the only one who's the least Americanized up here because of where she's from. That has not. That's like us. We do the same thing to FBAs when they try to get in our spaces and talk to us about all that in white. I know you saying you the FBA killer. They do the same thing, but it's just really it stops the conversation from progressing when like we allow people to make it personal to their anecdotal experiences when it's especially when it's about something such as a culture that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Yeah, and
Well,
I don't think that
32
was,
years
and
in
I
this
wouldn't say that was, you know, I get that, but I don't think that part of it is necessarily relevant, right? Because again, Willie, you got that point where you're saying that we're talking about from here, right? So we're talking about the culture here because it means something different. It does mean something different when you go to other cultures, right? So that's the difference. What you got, Marcus?
I disagree. I think that if
Go
you're
ahead.
going to make a comparative analysis, then we should be able to hear from what you got going on in your culture, and we should be able to discuss that as well. Like for instance, if we were like, that's why I asked, was it from the Dutch or the French side of Saint Martin? Because prostitution is legal and widely accepted on the Dutch side, correct? So if you say it's cultural to have prostitution in Saint Martin,
Yes.
and it's not cultural for somebody to be selling coochie in St. Louis, is it because it's the legal aspect of it, or are you saying that it's culturally a moral? Like I'm trying to understand how you're coming to that conclusion, because I don't. So Willie, that's my perspective. I don't think if anybody engages in the conversation, then introspective looks at where their perspective comes from should be off the table, and we should be able to compare and contrast in real time and say, hey, you might be naked at Carnival, just like Sexy Red was naked at her concert. So is it fair to really judge her and make a statement in regard to her when you're literally doing the exact same thing and then blame it on culture when she could say that's part of hip hop culture? So that's part of her ratchet culture or stripper culture, or whatever culture she come from.
That's fair.
Kevin Black is what you're saying.
So,
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So but me in particular, I wouldn't excuse either, right? How if you dress like that, because not everybody at Carnival is dressed like that. There's certain people who dress like that, right?
90%?
No, not everybody. Not everybody. No, it's not 90%.
No,
It's
in
not
Carnival,
90%.
they're all dressed like that.
If you
Like they have
want
costumes.
if you want to say that they're saying the including the culture is cruel, right? That's fine. I have no issue if that's the stance we're going to take on the platform. That's fine. But then what we can't do is when we have a guy from the Middle East up here, when we have a guy who lives in countries where, like again, the Middle East, where they have sex with men for recreation, we can't judge them for that because that's their culture. So that's my point. And this is what happens though. We only do this when it's something that we're trying to excuse about American culture. If we were talking about any other, if we were just talking about going to church, that wouldn't have came up. But now we're talking about women walking around her half-ass naked. Well, maybe it's their culture. So again, my underlying point is that everybody wants to make it personal when it applies to them and only them and their anecdotal lived experience. And that's what stops the conversation, because the only person up here that applies to is her. That doesn't apply to the majority of people in the audience. It doesn't apply to social media in general, because social media wasn't invented in the Caribbean. So like when people pull stuff that doesn't even matter in the conversation out, that's why I say it stops the conversation when you make things personal.
That's a fair statement. But if we're in a situation where you involve more than one person from a cultural perspective, and we're discussing a culture, and that person is looking at the culture with a prescriptive diagnosis and saying, hey, this is what's wrong, XYZ, then at that point, now we have to address, okay, how are you then rationalizing those things? Now, if it wasn't some, like, so with the Middle East, the boy thing, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have to discuss nothing that's going on in the Middle East. But if somebody from the Middle East on the panel and then takes the stance of, oh, y'all just be sassy and the black men be wearing dresses and it. Well, hold on, fam. How is you taking this stance when is you making these same statements about the men that sleeping with boys and doing the kite runner and shit in your country? Right. If not, why do you feel comfortable doing that, and what is the purpose?
So that's fair. So then what that also means that FBAs are welcome in these spaces and we can't judge them for their views.
I'm FBA. So what you saying? Like,
I'm sorry, like I'm saying the anti-FBA, the anti-FBA, like I'm saying, the people who speak out against them because they have a different cultural experience and cultural beliefs, then that diaspora needs to die. Then there should be no more conflict going back and forth between those two groups of people.
No, well, ideally, people would just discuss their own specific ethnicity. But if you do involve yourself in somebody else's ethnicity, then you open a floodgates for them to discuss yours. That's not that. That's like trying to give people parenting advice.
Fair.
And then people look at your kids and they sitting there peeing in the corner and throwing crayons at people and shit. And you like, hold on, why are you saying my kid's bad when I'm looking at your kid doing this? And then you say, oh no, that's just how we give it up.
I see where
you know what I'm saying. That's just how we give it up where I'm from. Nigga, no, that's not just how you give it up. Your kid bad too. If my kid bad, fine. Your kid bad too. Now let's discuss it as two parents with bad kids. Let's not pretend like you got a good kid and my kid is the bad one. We both got fucked up kids that we're gonna play this game.
Is this rest of this conversation going to be anything geared about the Caribbean?
No, because we're about to jump into a video. We're about to jump into a video right back and get more so on the topic.
Before you go there, Trev, I want to address something that Willie said about the gun situation, right? He's saying the shoulders, women showing their shoulders and things of that nature is the gun. So the problem is when we was having a conversation earlier, the gun is not killing anybody. And he was saying that men do not influence women, but I'm not sure if it just got cold in her house, but Jay switched from showing her shoulders to covering up. So, but regardless, though, we cannot use the excuse that the gun is the reason for why all these things are happening. If we as men, we want to clean up social media, then men need to take lust and degeneracy from the top of their value system. As simple as that. They need to put it somewhere around the bottom of their value. So they need to have some things above it. So regardless if the gun is there, is the person that's pulling the trigger. These men that keep claiming that they want these algorithms to clean up, they are the ones following 4,000 BBL Instagram models. They know these Instagram models way more than any kind of Bible verse ever.
Hey, Mike.
That's the real issue that we are having.
Get your bingo card ready. So this three things, right? This is one of the things that annoys me on these panels when people misquote me and then talk a lot after they've done it. I didn't say that men don't influence women. I said that they don't influence women more than women influence women. First. The second thing I said was the analogy about the gun, that's not an excuse. An excuse is an explanation that avoids a responsibility. That's not what I gave you. I gave you an explanation. I said what it was and how it was. I didn't say that nobody is responsible, because in that same very statement, I qualified the responsibility party as a woman. So excuses and explanations are not the same thing. So if you're saying someone's making an excuse, make sure that we understand what the accepted definition of those things are. And then three, just because she wouldn't cover up her shoulders being funny, and that's fine. Like, I get the joke, and then look, nobody else did. And my point that I used to illustrate her was that on most shows is that her shoulders are out. Most of these women, this is modest for them. Like, this is literally modest for a lot of them. If you look at some of these women who come on these panels, their social media, they damn near got their pussies out. But on these panels, this is covered up for them. That's what I was talking about. And the thing that you're saying that, well, men need to clean up social media, again, we cannot control what women do with their bodies. That is one thing that women and feminists, male, female alike, swear that men need to stop doing. And once we accept the fact that we cannot control what women do with their social media, then I'm not saying the world will be a better place, but there will be so much less discourse that we're having about women doing the same shit. Because the same guys who swear they don't look at women, the same guys who say, well, I don't follow all the BBLs you said. What we also have noticed is with those men, the women that they can get don't look like those BBL girls anyway. The girls that they have children by don't look like those girls. So it's not the fact that you're looking at them because you're a disciplined person or you're a better man. It's because you don't want to tempt yourself, and that's respectable, but you don't want to punch above your weight. That temptation is a motherfucker, especially on social media.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I just want to say it's a coincidence that I covered up. I'm just saying.
Right.
My shoulders are PG.
Sure it is,
shoulders
Jay.
and neck are PG. I was cold, okay? I just got cold. It just so happened I got cold when we were talking about that.
Since Jay, since you talking, walk with me real quick on this, right? And then
but can I address them real quick?
Oh, go ahead, Sharon. Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So the thing about men are influencing this currency that women are displaying. Men been holding this influence about what women wear and what women look for a very long time. This is why way before any Wi-Fi, men had these competition called beauty pageants where they started rating women from 1 to 10 way before any goddamn Wi-Fi. Also, this whole beauty standard started long before we had any goddamn internet. So this idea that men are not influencing women is a lie. Men are the ones that's controlling the social media. Men are the ones that's controlling the corn industry. Men are the ones that's controlling the hip hop music. It is men that is controlling all of this influence. And a lot of women are male centered. So that's another version of men controlling the narrative of how women are looking and promoting so-called themselves. The currency that I think men are really upset is that the middleman is starting to get less and less, and women are able to control their own currency with their own beauty standards, because it's not just only the white European Dolce & Gabbana standard anymore. Now we got all types of different women out there that could have this beauty currency now. Because once before a beautiful woman in our neighborhood only shutting down her neighborhood. Now she could shut down Dubai from Atlanta. So that's the big difference now. And I think a lot of men are just upset that the beauty standard has broadened up.
So real quick, Trev, this is the thing I have. Like, I understand that the English language has a pretty complex orthography, right? The problem is words have meaning. So you can pronounce several words several different ways, but you can't redefine words. Men do not control what women do. Men influence what women do. Those are two separate things, because if we controlled what women did, then we could also enact a consequence on those women. So if men are controlling everything, then we could also stop women from being hoes. We could stop women from being fat. We could stop women from being hyenas. We can't. All we can do is try to exert our influence. And the majority of men have no influence over women. The majority of men have no access to women. The majority of men won't even reproduce with a woman, let alone have a child of his own to influence. So again, it is categorically untrue that men in mass control what women do on social media by definition of the words.
That is absolutely not true.
Right.
Men are controlling what they're doing 100%. We can see even in laws, men are controlling the laws that affect women day to day. Men are affecting how women are losing jobs at 300,000 people a clip every day. So this whole idea that you can't control them without, that is just it's not realistic. It's not reality. I see you living in a fantasy world where this is not a man's world still. But the truth is, men are trying to gain back all of this physical control. That's why they are attempting to change laws and attempted to change maps and all these different things. So it's just not a true statement. Not even close.
You're right. I see the difference is I'm arguing from logic and things that I can support with facts. You're arguing from your opinion and bias. That's fair.
You haven't pushed out a fact. We're gonna
go to true. We're gonna go to true. Go ahead.
You only pushing out your opinion, not a fact. I just gave a fact of 3,000 women losing jobs. I gave a fact about laws being changed. You haven't gave any facts. Hold on,
Sharon. We're gonna get the truth. We're gonna have time. We're gonna get into it tonight. We're just gonna we just want to share the mic a little something. Go ahead.
It's okay, Trev, to let them get cooked. You can let them get cooked, Trev. It's okay.
I appreciate both of the responses.
Trev, what type of show do you want to have tonight? I just need to clarify this because this is gonna be easy. Like if you want to have
organic, whatever that looks like.
Wait, let's hear what Drew was gonna say.
All right.
Oh, well, no, I think everybody made great points. My initial premise of how I attacked the question was coming from the standpoint that this entire ecosystem that is the world is our influence, control, influence. I understand. I think you guys are smart enough to know the difference. When I was talking to Jay moments ago, the issue is that the subscription of how men carry out their influence is different. So basically, if I say I don't allow for my woman to, let's say, have tattoos, right? A woman will, in response, be like, yeah, but so many other men do. And that is always the breaking point, is that no matter what one group or one man or, a group of men may say is a standard, women have had so many different interactions with other men that don't subscribe to the same standard. Laws, society, what is permissible, whether we're a carnival or not, is always going to be mandated by our approval. And a lot of times, I think most men concede their position. What I mean by that is that they have been socially engineered to believe that they can't even demand certain decorum or characteristics from the women that they interact with. This is just facts. So myself will interact with certain men, and I'm like, you let her do what? You let her talk to you how? But that's normal to them because they've subscribed to this is how women behave. This is okay. That's the issue. And so I don't hold women as they don't lead anything. They always will be in the same position no matter what. I don't care how much degrees they get, how many businesses they open, how many positions in policy they take up. We are always going to dictate the flow of this earth, period. That's never going to change. And so other men need to stop making it seem like because we allow for them to now show up in society more prominent, that anything is shifted. Ain't nothing shifted. Men have been the author of everything societal from top to bottom, period. Then that's our land.
All right, we're going to get into the video. The only point I wanted to make real quick is that we have to realize that we view it from our lens, but it's important to be able to just understand holistically how things go, right? Many of our realities on the panel are very different than what your average person is going to understand, right? You're not going to have any problems with women, but guess what? You probably never did in your life. But in reality, most men do not know how to navigate when it comes to women, right? Control is a word that they can't even fathom, right? Influence is something that they barely have a grip on at all. So, and they don't have the kahunas half the time to be able to execute that or the means, right? If a woman doesn't look at you and admire and respect you, then she's not going to listen to anything that it is you're going to say at all. So we just have to understand that women don't treat every single man the same way. Just like we have a box that we might put a person we consider a 304 in, they are not going to get the same respect or treatment as we would a woman who we deem to be virtuous. Women have buckets that they put us into. So however they view you is how they're going to treat you. And I would venture to say that most men don't have the capability to be able to influence women.
But when we talk about influencing anybody, we are not talking about the
Carol
majority.
had her hand up for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got it right after this, Sharon. I just want to play devil's advocate real quick. Because I want you all to match me with these three. Because I do feel like men are the influence, right? Y'all are supposed to be the leaders, and I'm all good with that. Like, I'm not even trying to be sassy and sarcastic right now, but if hoes is winning, it ain't tricking if you get it, and we love bad bitches, I want you to match me three cultural norms that all 10 of us right now in this panel can absolutely agree to. That you all have established. That
men should have strong wrists. That being gay is bad. The three things you just listed are things that women say about men. That men should be masculine in the way they comport themselves. Men should lead.
My statements were proclaimed by men. You all say hoes as well. You all say ain't tricking if you get it.
True. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did those things sound like things that the women who swear they know what men want say?
Yeah, no, that we don't say hoes.
Those women,
that's definitely women.
But where do they get that from? They get that from you all. They're influenced by what you all desire. Therefore, they think that's what is required. They don't just wake up out their beds. They're going off what you all pay attention to and what you all do not pay attention to. I don't understand why we're playing this game. No. Let's just match me the three culture. No, let's just match me the three culture.
You asked 4.5 men what they like, what these matched up to, and then the four of us that are usually here to explain to you that those are things women say, and you're sitting there telling us no, that's not what women say. This is you proving our point.
I'm not saying that's not what women say. I'm saying the origin as to why women say that. They get that from you all. You all promote that, and they support it, and then they emulate it. So I didn't say you were wrong. I'm just saying the origin is from you all. What are we talking about?
That's not what
again,
4.5
Willie, I just
disagree
want to know
with
3
that.
cultural norms. If you got them for me, I just want to keep it positive. 3 cultural norms, because we ain't got to go back. That whoever said it still reigns true. So I ain't even gonna put the blank. It's truth. I don't care if it's male or women. It's true. Again, I just want somebody to match me 3 cultural norms that they feel like all 10 of us can agree to, because that's maybe the problem. That's what True was saying. Like there is just too much differentiation. So
I already gave you 3. I gave you 3. The first 3 things I'm out.
Being gay is bad.
Men should have strong wrists and men should be masculine. Does anybody up here? Well, Mont, do you disagree with that?
Mont disagree with this. Mont, you better disagree. You better disagree.
Hey, listen, get off my dog.
That was made.
So 3 things that we can agree with: men should not have weak wrists, men should be masculine in the way they comport themselves, and that men should not be gay. Look, Mont, and I see what you're doing, and I'm not trying to help.
If you can help it, don't be gay.
All right, we're gonna jump into the video.
Yay.
These good qualities? No. Do you want to experience this? This was your definition of the things that baddies have to do. They have to be sexy 24/7, right? And does that mean they have to just look sexy, or do they also have to do things? Do things. Oh, well, this is a whole nother part of the conversation. Ooh. I gotta ask y'all the right questions. So it's not just that you have to look super sexy, feel and perform super sexy, but do you have to have sex? Okay, let me ask this. Maybe you don't have to, but do you think a lot of people that participate in the baddie culture do? Yes. Oh, do tell. Why? What makes you think this? Are you just judging these women? Are you jealous of these women? Are you thinking you too good for these women, or do you know these as facts?
No, I just like have so much to say on that, because like I feel like a lot of lustful men are like very rich these days, especially like older white men. And a lot of women seem to be attracted to me now just because of their money, and they're like, oh, if I stay with him, oh, he'll set me up for life. If I do this for him, then he'll do this for me. And it's just
so technically that is a form of prostitution, right?
Yeah.
Am I putting that extras on it, or is that what you think? No. So if you're doing something transactional, that's kind of like a culture of prostitution. Okay. Wait a minute. So all of these things you're telling me, baddies who may go a step further and actually begin to use sex as a survival tool, because that's what a lot of will say, right? What do they say to justify that? Hey, I'm getting what? Money. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, that's what I feel like Summer Walker, like, she was like not getting canceled, but like that's just her whole thing. And like she uses that as an excuse to like sleep with women.
Yeah. And this happens. Now let's talk a little deeper. You guys have some music artists that you like, right?
Yeah.
You told me about the reality TV characters, but do they kind of uplift this baddie culture and this kind of prostitution kind of like culture, or is it just me tripping? Tell me how. How are you seeing it, not just in reality TV, but you're also seeing it in the music that's kind of normalizing, hey, if you're going to be a baddie. I think Cardi B has a song called Fuck 'Em and I Get Some Money. Is that a good example?
Man, protect that woman at all costs. Jesus.
She has some really good videos.
You need to donate to her.
Yeah.
Hey, it ain't tricking if you got it, right, fellas? Let's give her some money.
All right, so we're taking opinions. Go ahead. Not all at once.
What's the question?
Immediate thoughts. That's all. I got some questions on.
Oh shoot, I gave you mine. Protect her at all costs. We need to give her. We need to donate. We need to do it.
All right, so I'm gonna ask a specific question then, if that's the case. If that's what y'all want to do.
No, I like
all right. So
I like what she was teaching the class. I enjoy it. I think I feel like Black people have a culture, and I feel like it's been like kind of changing over time. But she was just like, she felt like she would be my aunt, or she felt like she would be my grandmama, or like, you know, kind of like That's how we think in the Black community. Like all this new weird, the feminist stuff and all that type of stuff. But that was like classic, like how I grew up, so.
All right, so we'll start with this one. Is baddie culture empowerment or early conditioning? Is baddie culture empowerment or early conditioning?
It's coach.
I got a question. Is Beyonce considered baddie culture?
She teeters in her later career.
Yes, she volunteered to cross over. Yep, she sure is.
What about Ashanti? Ashanti
Absolutely.
considered baddie culture?
Yes.
Can y'all define baddie culture so I understand the parameters that we
right? Because I don't think nobody looks at Ashanti or Beyonce as somebody that is a hoe, because they trying to make it seem like a woman that is showing off her skill set, dancing, maybe having her shoulders out, or like Beyonce having her goddamn ass out while she's married, singing about sex, dancing sexually. Nobody look at her as a hoe. So this whole idea that people pick and choose what is the negative version of baddie culture versus what is a woman empowerment version of baddie culture is just astounding to me. Nobody want to just deal in the truth of what we actually seeing. It is a business. This culture is a business, and now Black women can make money off of this goddamn so-called baddie culture. And now all of a sudden people are up in arms because women can be rich off of the things that people have been making money off for centuries. I don't understand it in reality. Deal with the truth. Baddie culture is what you perceive of it. It is not what has actually happened. A lot of these people that are so-called have this baddie culture, whole culture, they are prudes in their house, home every single goddamn day. Day just said it herself. She was on a goddamn beach, shaking her rump, having a great time. If you was from the outside looking in, somebody could say she was having some baddie culture situation. She's a hoe all of a sudden. No, she's just having a good time as an autonomous human being. And we need to leave it as that and stop trying to make every time you see a shoulder or a little hint of ass that woman is a hoe. It's ridiculous.
Sharon, question. What's Beyonce's value?
Okay, wait.
Hold on.
Can I get in there real quick?
Ms. Pearl, when you speak, can you also add the definition of baddie culture so I understand? Because I am kind of confused on where y'all drawing the parameter.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Now, originally, bad meant you were attractive, right? And this somehow has become this. Now I'm gonna take off more clothes because you didn't even have to be. If we talk about 90s fine that everybody want to be talking about, those women were covered up. You don't understand what I'm saying? Like they were just attractive. They didn't have BBLs. They didn't have what? Damn, I was finna say some other shit. Caterpillar lashes and all this extra stuff. Like the accessories weren't there. It was just natural beauty, right? They were bad. Michael Jackson had the song "Bad," right? But it's become this negative connotation where it's excelled from just being attractive to now it's being redefined as the more hypersexual, the more salacious you are. And now they've blurred the lines with prostitution. And now they've conflated those. If you were baddie, you got to be a prostitute too. No, originally it was just an attractive woman, period.
Miss Pearl.
Now, again, people redefine this and make it their culture, but a baddie culture, again, right now, today, as it stands in 2026, women with inflated, unrealistic expectations who are, like I said before, I love rhyming, cute prostitutes. Period.
Miss Pearl, bad and baddie are different things.
So Beyonce and Ashanti would not be baddies.
You shouldn't put Beyonce and Ashanti in the same fucking sentence for anything. Ever.
I don't know if that's subjective. I'm gonna leave that alone. And I get what you're saying now. In terms of them just being attractive, yeah, they bad. But in terms of like baddie, when we talk about like hypersexuality and salaciousness, we do have to include them because women idolize them and they move off the way they move. So like if she wearing a leotard and she talking about certain things, women are gonna be wearing a leotard. I didn't say that they were qualified to do it. I'm just saying that they model this. Ain't no different than when Jay-Z told you all to change clothes and put on button-ups from the jerseys and switch your chain quality. Like if somebody is influential to you and there's somebody that's pedestalized, you're going to be influenced off their behavior unless you're able to sort through it. And we're talking about the majority of the people. We're not trying to make this anecdotal or just isolated to us. Majority of people idolize them, period. So they follow behind them. So again, outside of the talent, outside of the business, the way that they will carry themselves in a lot of ways, I wouldn't approve of. But again, maybe they're just me. I land.
So if you so I can get with you saying that being sexually salacious and just marketing sex in general is just across the board a negative thing that probably women should not do. Yeah. Now, in a
but again,
ideal
the
world,
sex
I would
sells,
agree
right?
with you.
That's what Jay was saying.
Well, in an ideal world, I would agree with you. In the world we live in, I think that it's more nuanced, and then there's a spectrum to that. Because I wouldn't say what's Sexy Red doing.
That's the problem right there.
You don't think it's a spectrum? So let me ask you this: Is ballet?
But if it was hold on. I'm out with you. I'm just saying, if it was a spectrum, then why do we have a problem with they saying that in the Caribbean they dress a certain type of way, but in America we don't? If it's a spectrum, then wouldn't it be a spectrum of nudity and the way that you self-express yourself? I'm just trying to make it seem. I'm not even trying to make it seem like nothing. I just feel like it shouldn't be a gray area. Either you're a good woman or you're a whore. Like, why do we keep trying to blur the lines? It can't be these too many levels of differentiation and people getting to fluctuate. Stop it. Good woman.
So every
what does
woman
that
that's
mean?
not a virgin
whore,
is a
what
whore.
Does that mean? And leave it at that. No, because then we're gonna be here all night because it's gonna be subjective. It's too many layers
fair
of
enough.
Whore, good woman, and back and forth. Good woman. What is that? Whore. What is that? The shame culture. Get rid of it. Like we can't keep doing this.
Miss Pearl, hold on. I really gotta answer this, Miss Pearl. So using that you're either a good woman or a whore, is every woman that is not a virgin currently or didn't wait till they got married to have sex a whore?
No, they're not. They were a human being who experienced sex.
Now
Now, if
it's
you want to
a
try to take that
spectrum.
from a biblical standpoint, we can break that damn Bible down too. Don't try to hold that to your
spectrum.
chest when it promotes it to be the best. But then when you want to try to condemn somebody, you want to smack them with that too. No, because that woman had sex with a man. They were both wrong. So what are we talking about? Let's not do that, because the man also wasn't a virgin and his ass gonna burn in hell too. So
let me
no,
walk you
just
down
because
why
she
I
had
asked
sex
you that
doesn't make her
question.
whore. That's subjective. That's what somebody told you
Oh,
makes her a
now
whore
it's
because she had
subjective.
sex. No, let's not do that.
Hey, now it's
not do that.
subjective, in white. Now it's subjective.
What's subjective?
I thought you were arguing against subjectivity.
Somebody being a whore because they slept with somebody, really? So that's what y'all gonna try to conflate, knowing that don't make no goddamn sense.
Hey,
Really?
listen.
So she slept with one person. She's a whore. When we already know what defines you to be a whore is when you sleep with multiple people. So this is what I be talking about. I'm gonna have conversations with real people that's gonna know what it is, or fake ass people that's gonna keep trying to make it subjective to make their arguments and prove a point. Stop playing with me. Like I say, go past somebody else. I land.
So
I'm done.
you doing all of this
Fuck is
fake
you
ass
talking
people stuff and all that. I'm gonna ignore that and strictly stick to the argument that you just made.
Good
'Cause
job,
I like
Mike.
you, Miss Pearl, and I don't want to fight with you. However, you just said that none of this shit is subjective. Because I was saying Beyonce is on one end of this. Hold on, let me finish. Just mute up. Just mute up and wait. Just mute up, baby. I got you.
She's muted. Go ahead.
All right. We gonna walk it down. We're gonna slowly walk it down. So Beyonce, my claim, Beyonce is on one end of a spectrum, and Sexy Red or a woman that work on OnlyFans is on another end of that spectrum. Now, if the claim is you're either a good woman or a whore, then what definition of a good woman are you using? Because you can't then say you can sleep with one person, but you can't sleep with 5. If you're saying that there is no spectrum, it's either you're a good woman or you're a whore, then you're either a woman that's untainted, as the definition of that shit is, or you're a whore, or it's a spectrum, like I'm trying to say. That's the real conversation.
No, so like, for example, like autism, right? It's a spectrum of it, right? So now it got people that don't have it at all. That's on a whole nother side. But just because if Beyonce is considered baddie culture and Sexy Red is considered baddie culture, they are just on that side altogether. So now it got a spectrum of how the degree of the baddie culture they in, but that's still those Beyonce and Sexy Red, they still are on that same plane. But the good women's on a completely different plane. You would have to have a plane of Michelle Obama and Viola Davis. They both been married for a very long time. Angela Bassett. So they will have their own version of the spectrum as well. But to act as if a woman that had sex with one man out of wedlock is now a whore, that is a completely fallacy, is what she's saying. And that premise we cannot use within this argument, because we know when we call somebody a whore, it's because they have multiple partners in a very short period of time.
Hey, real quick,
I can prove, hold on, Willie. I can prove right now that it's a spectrum. Everybody tell me how many men you got to sleep with to become a whore.
Nigga, I'm on record.
What's your number? How many men do you have to sleep with before a woman becomes a whore?
I would say 10.
All right, Dave, what's the number?
Bro, you're not gonna get women.
I think there is a number, and I think
subjective.
I would love. I still want to hear the numbers
per user.
So now subjective
no.
is bad.
Listen, I don't agree with that, but true, you're saying 10. But say you're in a 20-year relationship, right? And then a year you're single and you sleep with 9 men.
Or you said 10. 10 is the number.
Okay, so or 8. That's less than 10. Like in a year, so that's poor. You could sleep with 5 in that time frame. I think that's. I don't.
He said 10 in a lifetime. Just deal with it. That's the number.
Yeah.
Hold on. My point wasn't even to get answers from everybody. My point was this: if we have varying degrees of different answers, what is that called? What is a sentence? What is a synonym for varying degrees? It's called a spectrum.
No,
Literally, this is
but you're using that spectrum wrong. You're using the spectrum wrong. That's the issue that we having. We got to have a spectrum of what we call in baddie culture. We got to have that situation got to have a spectrum from good, bad to worse, right? But the good women, they got to have their own version of a spectrum as well. So we can't have good women a part of, if we are trying to separate the two, right? We're saying we have good women and baddie women, right? So it has to have a spectrum of just baddies, and then they got to have a spectrum of just good women, so we can have the actual separation.
Okay, so what are the parameters for each? When do you become a
that was the statement I was trying to make.
When do you break out of good woman? When do you break out of good woman and then you're into baddie?
No,
right. So like,
when you got a good woman into being a hoe, what's the difference? Because Pearl, this is Pearl's world right now. She said good woman and a hoe. There's no in between. So which one is it? When do you go from good woman to hoe? And that's
there's got to be some sort of
but
threshold,
I'm just saying,
right?
hold on. Wait a minute. Because wasn't Ella on here saying that the good women were standing too close to the hoes, and y'all was like, hey, that's my man. Like, he made a point, like slam dunk with that, right? Because they're standing too close, they're doing what? They're blurring the lines. Maybe if it wasn't a spectrum and such a variety and multiplicity, and there was literally specificity and not so much ambiguity, you would be able to understand the difference between a real woman and a whore. Now, again, I know people make their choices, but once again, I stand on what I said. There has to be some differentiation and some separation. I'm down that hill.
Can you provide the differentiation? Provide the differentiation. That's the thing that I'm asking. The parameters to have this conversation. Can you provide what's the parameters in which once you cross out of this point, you become a whore, and when you stay within these confines, you become a good woman? Can you provide that?
So hold on. My ask you. Do you know what they call it when you ask somebody something for a definition of something that they want to use against you, but then they won't tell you what the definition is?
I don't know. It seems like filibustering.
I'm gonna give you a second. I know you know the word. But just the point. Just while you think about it, that's all you're gonna get.
Disingenuous? Are you saying disingenuous?
No, it's a big word
and that's exactly what it is. Because I'm gonna use a word, but then when you ask me for the definition, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm just gonna keep talking as if you should figure it out yourself. You cannot ask women on a panel. For example, I use Jay and Day. They say they have their best friends for 20 years. You ask Day what number makes you a hoe. She gonna have to think about every dick that Jay done told her she done took in a friendship and say a number higher than that. Because if she doesn't, she just said that her friend is a hoe. So you can't ask women publicly these types of questions and expect them to be honest. So
you can excuse me. Don't do that. Don't speak for me.
I'm not
anything, just like he asked, and I'm gonna answer it. Nah, thank you. The parameters for a good woman and a whore would be a woman who is a
hold on.
good
We can't.
nature,
We can't.
would regard
Pearl,
herself, and she wouldn't be sexually
Pearl,
liberated
hold on.
and just so
I
fascinated.
want to let
Pearl got a delay.
Pearl.
Pearl, I think Pearl got a delay.
That's not my fault. Like, don't talk to me.
No,
that's not my
fault.
So look, let Willie finish. Let Willie finish, and then we're gonna let you
No, he's
respond
trying
right
to
after.
talk to
Pearl.
me. That was an appropriate interjection for a correction. What are we talking about? He's trying
No,
to speak for me and say this is why you don't ask women anything on the panel.
The only thing
You ask
interjection
me
is the
anything.
internet.
Not
So again,
Willie, come on now, Willie. M. White asked me what are the parameters for a good woman and a good man. You chose to try to interject. I didn't have your answer. So technically it was still on me, but thank you though. So again, like I was saying, the parameters for a good woman and a whore. What do you, Willie, stop.
I don't know why both of you motherfuckers
Stop.
on this shit.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, this is where I thrive. So I'm telling you, you and whoever else, just to be clear. Like,
okay, well, okay, so you thrive. We already know you're gonna survive. Let's chill. You're gonna
If you want me to
survive.
treat you like a woman, act like one. That's all I'm gonna ask you. That's all I'm asking.
I'm always a woman, Willie. Thank you.
Act like one.
Don't do that. Thank you. So anyway, as I was saying before I was interrupted, and he interjected. Anyway, doesn't even need to be corrected. The parameters to keep us on track, bring us back, right? So the parameters of a good woman and a whore are always what they've been and what they will always will be. A good woman is going to hold herself, her sexuality, her sensuality is going to be reserved. She's not going to be out here willy-nilly in it for any old body. It's not going to be a price. It's not going to be if your car looks nice. It's not going to be all of these materialistic acquisitions. You're actually going to have to be somebody of substance. Whereas we all know a whore, it doesn't matter about any of those things that I just named about a man being of substance. If you look good, you can get it. If you got a car, you can get it. If you're going to give a 4 for 4, you can get it. If you got something, a place for her to sleep, you can get it. It doesn't matter. She doesn't have any discretion for herself, regardless if it's a survival tactic or not. Really basic, one regards herself, the other one does not. Why are we acting brand new?
Yo, let me get the rock.
I rock with you, bro.
Let me
get the parameter. You didn't give me a number. That's
hold on.
I'm trying to see when you cross from one section to the next.
This is why. Hold on. This is why I like after listening to everybody. I
How
think that
a woman who regards herself and does not spread herself across many men, that is not a whore. A woman who does that is, and a woman who adds money into it is a prostitute.
Bro, hold on.
So after listening to everybody, I think Willie and M. White actually had a point, because if Pearl's position is, all of that ambiguity and subjectivity is done with, that don't make no sense. It's either black or white. I think when they said, because even in the process of you saying that, get rid of ambiguity and subjectivity, you're adding it in by saying okay, a good woman is a woman who she only has sex with her husband. That's a good woman. Right, that's what we can go by. Only have sex with your husband, no kids out of wedlock. That's the man that you want to have sex with. Or outside of that, you're in the bad woman category. That's kind of that makes the most sense based on her perspective that she was given. Now, when you start to talk about, a good woman is just a woman who has values and she just uses discernment and all that. That's extremely subjective to where that's putting us back in that realm.
Hey, can I ask a question?
The issue is you act as if that men can go from being a bad man to a good man, and a woman can't go from being a bad woman to a good woman. So even if something happened and then she changed her ways, that now she could actually go from being the baddie culture to I'm a good wife culture as well. It's the same way how a man can. The same way how we tell men to go ahead and thought it up. And then when you finally get it all out your system, now you could come back and be a so-called good man. You could just forget every goddamn vagina you put your face in all of a sudden. If a man could do that, if a woman's get out of this baddie culture for a long enough time, you're gonna have to now shift her from out of the baddie culture spectrum to now into the good wife spectrum. That's the issue that y'all actually having. We gotta just deal in the truth. But we want to deal in just talking points instead of what's really happening in the real world.
So I would like to ask a clarification question from fellas. And White, at what number do you say a man becomes a whore maker? How many men would he have to have hit before you would call him a whore maker?
No,
Women.
what? Well, no man.
Women.
No.
You can't hit no man.
Yeah, there you go.
Like,
Well, my bad. I was.
I know. Yeah, you've been. I know. I got you. I know your question. How many women would a man have to hit before he is out here actively contributing to the population of women that's out here just is women?
No, bro. I just said be a whore maker.
Yeah, whore maker. All
right.
Shit. Probably like
The same number, 10. Go with 10. Do the same
let's
number.
no, hold on, Willie. I'm gonna say it like this.
I'm going one by one.
I want to answer the question because I don't want to give a theoretical answer. If you are engaging in one night stands with more than 4 people, then you out here creating hope. Like you whore making or whatever.
Fair. True. What's your
Not if it's 3.
Jay, this ain't for you right now because y'all didn't want to tell us how many bodies.
Because I don't think there's a particular number.
So then that's what we should have.
I'll let you guys go
when we were asking women. True. What's your number?
Like, there ain't no number. I think it's the way you approach your interaction with women. I think if you out here like intentionally slaying and you know, getting them in, getting them out, there ain't no number.
What's the number? Or like, what are your criteria for a man being a homemaker?
All right, so I'm a little bit closer to what True's definition is. If you approach it in such a way where you kind of discard the woman and mess her up emotionally, then you could probably do that with one.
Facts. Mont.
Well, I think that's interesting because I'm curious if those women only dealt with the. So True has an example of a man who's not a whore maker, but he sleeps with women casually, right? But he's right. You can sleep with a woman casually and not be a whore maker. Is that what you were saying?
You asking me directly?
Yeah.
I because I believe it's the intent behind it.
Okay,
Like
that's all I needed. Okay, so if you sleep with a bunch of women casual, if a woman sleeps with only men like that, and she sleeps with 40 men like that who aren't whore makers, is she a whore now? But she only slept with men who can't make her a whore maker because they cared about her or they were nice guys.
Yeah,
in my personal opinion, I don't think so. But according to if you're going by a rigid format, then yes, if there's no gray area, if there's no spectrum, then yeah. But I believe the spectrum exists. So
let's up it to 100. But 100 of those nice guys.
100? You said?
Yeah, let's up it.
Is she 100 years old or like 150?
Okay, so we got parameters. It's a limit to it.
Yeah, like. So if you saying they cared about it, I would think she took the time to develop a relationship with these people or something before it happened, and then whatever happened from there. If you just saying she fucked 100 niggas and she think they loved her just because she think they love, like how do you do that?
But there was nice guys who cared about her, like they gonna take like True would do. Imagine True, like he going to teach her stuff.
No, you're not gonna do True like this.
He gonna be nice. He gonna teach you stuff. He gonna take you out, and he gonna do all of that. And he gonna do all of that. But she meet them nice guys. So if you are not a whore maker because you're doing that, right? Then I don't think those girls can be whores for sleeping with guys like you.
So the reason why I asked the question is this. Trev, if I called you a whore maker, would you be offended? Like, would you be up in arms? Trev, if I called you a whore maker, would you be offended? Like, would you think I disrespected you if I called you a whore maker?
Not if it was true. No.
No. Even if I just said it, you know what I'm saying? Just like, man, you're a whore maker because I see you get women. No. Would you be offended? And white, would you be offended? No.
I would not be offended. However, I think that focus on the 4 people he just put on the panel.
And I bet you every woman up here would be offended if we called them a hoe, even if she is. That's my point. See how easy it was for us to have the conversation and determine what it was, what the criteria was, because we didn't give a shit. We didn't care about what you're saying. Well, okay, well, damn, I can't give this definition because, I done hit 19 bitches this month. So if I say anything more than that, that's how the difference between men and women are. We can have these conversations in good faith and be genuine in them. Women refuse to. When have you seen it? Except for on those panels where it's like horrible decisions, where the hosts advertise and monetize being whores. Like in all these spaces, everybody wants to be this pretend baddie good woman, when most oftentimes, if you ask them to define what these things are, they will disqualify, if not themselves, someone close to them or somebody else on the panel. But when the fellas do it, we don't have it. Well, when masculine men do this, we don't have that issue. I asked you a question, you answered it. You didn't think about how it affects you, how it make you just answer the fucking question.
Yeah, but there's also
All right, so-
men.
That's what makes us different.
Hold on.
Can I jump in?
Look, not yet. We got to throw it around a little bit. We're gonna get Jay and Lakeisha go first.
Oh, I want to listen to this first because mine's kind of bring it back down to regular.
All right, go ahead, Jay. We're gonna do that. We're gonna go to Dave, and we're gonna come back to you.
It's like it's a double standard anyway with men and women. So men, when you guys hit women, yeah, you getting daps, and it's like I'm trying to hit as many as possible. When women, it's totally different. You don't want obviously women to have sex with multiple people. So it is a double standard. If a woman does it, she's a hoe. If a guy does it, yeah, he gets all the accolades. So I mean, I don't understand. I personally don't see that there's a particular number. I think it is how a person moves, how they respect themselves, how they carry themselves. So it's like the intent. If you're out there having, one night stands, then to me, yeah, you're a hoe. It's how you're carrying yourself. You don't care. Like Miss Pearl was saying, you out there sleeping with, men for money, or you're trying to get to a bag and stuff like that, and you're using your body. I think that's what defines a hoe to me.
So if your friend told you she had fucked 40 niggas in the past 12 months, would you say that would you tell her that she's a hoe?
Yes, I would.
So there's a number somewhere. That's my
To
point.
her face.
Right, but
Hold, y'all. Let Lakeisha go.
No, I was saying what
Ready now?
Jay just said. It depends on how she does it, because she used the example of 9 people.
How
in
else do
one
you fuck 40
first
people in a
month.
year, Lakeisha?
No, I'm
No,
just
I
saying.
think I think that's the problem, is because you can't measure it the same. Call it a double standard, call it whatever you want.
A different
Women
standard,
are
not a double standard.
Yeah, women are responsible for managing their chastity. Period. Whether y'all
Yeah,
like
I
it or
agree with
not.
that.
Okay, so you can't flip it and make it seem like men are not tasked with that same life, standard. We're just not.
No, that's
The
why I said I
interact-
know it's a double standard. I know
Right.
that's
They're
how it
not.
is.
But why it makes it fall apart is because we keep on making it seem like the interaction of sex is equal in that sense. It's not. For us to even get sex requires a lot of different, exchanges. And it's crazy because we can see this in so many other aspects. If a dude is 35 and had 86 jobs compared to somebody who may be the same age and had 3 or 4 jobs, you would look at one and be like, yo, why aren't you got some stability? Like, why are you floating all around and bouncing all around compared to someone who's more decisive? So we can clearly see that. But when it comes to women, especially current day, it's almost like we want to remove the fact that y'all don't understand that the more penis you allow to get inside of you, there's something wrong with your process. There's something wrong with your system. You don't have standards. You're not to be trusted. It's period, point blank, good, bad, indifferent. Don't matter if you was depressed. We don't care. Your job is to block penis. That's your job. It's just that simple. And if you can't do that successfully, take the tagline.
I get that.
Like she said.
Yeah, Lakeisha, I'm sorry. I know you've been trying to get in there.
No, you good. I said it's still a double standard. Like you said, we get it. It's always been a double standard. Men can do it. You saying as much box as a woman taking, but how much shit is you putting in women? That makes it okay because you're a man? Like, that's crazy. You still sticking your shit in the soda can versus the can or the damn pencil going in it. That's how women. This is how women feel. I'm just saying that's how women feel.
Before we go, let Dave jump in real quick, and then we're gonna Sharon had his hand up, so he's right out there.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about this one. I'm gonna go with the ladies. I don't consider. I don't have no
surprise.
Come back to me. I don't have no comments. I just want to listen.
All right, go ahead, Sharon.
So the thing that I disagree is the premise of the situation of hoe making, and if you a hoe. Being a hoe is derogatory towards women. Being a hoe maker for a man is not derogatory. So we was going to try to compare the two. You would have to put more. If a man is being catty and he always interrupting somebody, that would be considered a, not masculine, right? That would be disrespect. You say, hey, you not masculine because you catty. You always arguing with the women. Get your ass out the mirror. The woman's supposed to be in the mirror. Stop interrupting and interjecting it every time somebody's talking. that would be more of a, the BAN type of situation to make it comparable. But to try to use the premise as being a hoe and being a homemaker is going to be the same offense is just not a genuine conversation whatsoever.
Sharon, what you think is an adequate? Because I don't agree with the first part, but I do agree with that they're not accurate depictions. Because being a whore maker is not an insult to a man. What would you say is an insult to a man that men would typically lie about?
A man being catty, a man not being masculine. That would be similar.
So
because
with a better question to phrase that be like,
being a whore, you're saying that she's not a good woman. So being a bad man is being non-masculine, and being catty is a version of non-masculine.
So how many times do you have to be catty before you're non-masculine? Is a better question then, according to this logic, right?
If being catty is a part of your character, then you are you are not a masculine man. So once it's a part of who you are, of course, so like being a hoe, once it's a part of who you are, that means you are a bad woman. Because, for example, Tia Mowry, right? She was married for a very long time. But when she went to the whole I graduated marriage and now she's back in the street, guess who they say? They would say she's a part of baddie culture now, too, because now she got videos of her dancing and showing off her so-called body and doing the TikTok dancing. She's a part of baddie culture now. And she ain't, so for what we know, she ain't no hoe. So if your character is catty and you a man, we got to call it what it is. But for some reason, men cannot call out the cattiness in men because for some reason, they just want to protect men and coddle men at all costs. Even the ones that is showing that they are not being what they claim in its masculinity.
I don't know if that's
it's wild to me. Just call it out in real time. So therefore, the women can see, oh, there go the goddamn leaders. Because they holding the men accountable. And then now women can understand what they supposed to be following as well, what they could submit to, willingly submit to, not forcibly submit to.
Why that's problematic is because it still has very little to do with her choice in sexual partners. Somebody's characteristic, how they address, exchanges with the opposite sex, that's one thing. I get it. But it's not going to have the same equivalent. And we keep on removing the responsibility that women have. There's certain things women just have to do, in my opinion. One of those things is protect their chastity. That has very little to do with a man's sassiness or lack thereof. If she does not want to participate in being a woman of, choosiness or a high moral character, great. But then don't try to stand on the side of women who actually do that. And that's another problem. See, they want to do what they want to do, but they want to switch up the uniform or the presentation in society, posing as a good woman. Good woman being the trope. If you want to behave in a way, behave in that way and keep it there. Don't try to live in both worlds. I think that's my problem. And I would say most men have the same problem. And I'll end.
So the women that are protecting their chastity, they be with a man that present himself as a good man. She sleeps with him. According to biblical terms, that woman is now a hoe, correct?
No, we never said that.
If you don't use
all right, but that's the issue. We gotta have, especially the men, we gotta have that distinction and say, hey, brothers, we cannot act as if we are preaching for men to go ahead and pop off as much as you can. And then now you could just totally forget all the women that you ever slept with and become a good man all of a sudden. If women cannot do it, men can't do it neither. We are social creatures and we keep acting as if men putting a peen in multiple women, that every woman that they put their peen in, they don't have no feelings for. But the culture shows that they do have feelings for them.
So do you think that a man could graduate from being a domestic violence offender repeatedly? Let's say he's had 15 women and he's known to be punching heifers out. And at some point he decides this is no longer probably a good way to carry myself. Would you say that socially that would be acceptable? That the people who know of his past would deem him able to graduate from his horrendous past?
So this is a two-part answer. Hopefully you'll let me get through it. So yes, he can so-called graduate to not being a devier. However, if he with the new woman that he is with, if one day, 10 years down the line, she get her ass whooped by him, everybody's gonna say, B, you should have known better because he was whooping B's asses his whole entire life. So yes, he can technically graduate if he don't do it no more, but he still have that that sense that he has a character flaw in him.
So, Sharon, some of you said, I really had a real question for you. You were saying men and women, when they operate sexually, they're exactly the same.
Yes, the fact that we act as if men could just erase all the coochie that they put their face in is ridiculous. You cannot expect a man that is out here just slinging pain can all of a sudden turn into a faithful husband. This is why a lot of on these spaces we hear men talking about they need to exercise options because they don't want to ever let go of the option because they've been dealing with that character flaw and they never want to actually correct that character flaw. What we got to do is have a culture shift on how we communicate to young men. So we communicate with them, tell them to take lust and degeneracy from the top of your goddamn value system and replace that with some sound doctrine, some honor, integrity, some loyalty, and then maybe we could get rid of this so-called baddie hoe culture that we keep on trying to fight.
So I'm not even really going to argue that point because in totality, who can argue against adding more morals and structure within the life of culture? However, I do got to argue at this point, though. You said that men can't transform into good men. Are you a good man? Let me rephrase that. Would your wife or most people assume that you're a good man?
To the people that I'm involved in their life, they would consider me that, yes.
Did you engage in
degenerate men? I'm a bad man.
Okay.
Right. So you know what I'm saying? So the men that want to hold on to lust and degeneracy, guess what? I'm the villain.
Fair enough. My second question is important. Did you engage in lust and sex at an earlier age?
No, I don't. Not in the sense of this baddie culture, no. So I do not have a bunch of women on my belt, if that's what the question is.
When you say not in a sense of this baddie culture, that's subjective to you. So I can't think that muddies the question. And wait,
no, it's not subjective to me.
Yeah,
it's subjective to
You're right. I'll rephrase. Sharon, did you in your life have sex with a woman that you were not in a long-standing relationship with before?
No.
Oh well.
Sharon ain't get no hoes.
Congratulations. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm gonna take your word for it.
And the reason for that is because I hopped off the porch at a very young age, and I recognized that women was the number one reason why young men was getting their life taken. They'd go ahead and chase some vagina, and that was one way to either get set up or somebody busted their door and say, "What you doing in my house?" Boom, boom, boom. So I knew for a very early age that I cannot be putting my peen and everything moving. And plus, I never had a problem with attractive women, so it wasn't something that I was I needed to chase. I'm fly as hell. I'm handsome. You know what I'm saying? So I never had to engage in a whole bunch of women to say that I'm the man. I've been a man since I hopped out of, you know what I'm saying?
So Sharon, I'm curious.
No, I don't want to. Hold on, let me just say this so I don't personalize it.
I just want to know what he was thinking about when we asked him that, because he was thinking kind of hard. So like, what were you even thinking about when he asked you that question?
I was thinking about what his idea of what baddie culture is, because I wasn't married when I had. No, he said no, because he was framing the question into what we was having a conversation about. So I just want to make sure I'm addressing it in the context of the conversation and not putting just myself strictly into it, right? Because if I put myself strictly into it, it changes my answer. So I gotta go by what we are communicating by.
So Sharon, I'm not gonna personalize it on you. I'm gonna include myself in it because I feel it's only fair. Because the point I was trying to make, I thought you would make it for me, but you didn't. So salute to you for that was the way you chose to live your life. I wasn't there, so I don't know, right? But me on the other hand, I engaged in what you would call debauchery behavior and all that stuff for a very long portion of my life. And I would have probably have been the friend that they would have thought was never gonna get married and was never gonna settle down, have a family, be a father, do all that stuff. But in fact, I actually flipped the script and became the actual friend that is the most involved with their family, the most successfully happy relationship and all that stuff. So the point I was hoping you would make for me, but I have to make it using myself, was that it can be done. That was my point.
Exactly. And you are the male version of Cardi B. You just didn't find a offset female. You know what I'm saying? You found a good version, right? You found your Russell Wilson first. You know what I'm saying? So you was out there doing your
that's
damn
hilarious.
thing.
But all right, whatever. I never drugged nobody. I never robbed nobody. I never sold no But if you just judging a degenerate scale of having random sex, then I am with you. I got you. I can't even deny it. But you see how I'll own up to my flaws in life, and I'll say, hey, this is what I did wrong. I don't even know if I feel like it was wrong, but this is what I did previously, and this is how I move currently, right? That was you know.
If we may, Marcus, if we may, and you can answer or not answer, do you believe through your debaucherous lifestyle at one point, and now you transition into this good man, right? Did you believe that you were deserving of the woman that you acquired? Did you set out to do that, to accomplish that type of connection?
I got bipolar levels of self-confidence, so I thought I could get any, like, I don't think it's anything I could not get, honestly, no matter what the fuck I did. So and that might be just, like I said, I might be delusional as hell, and then life just somehow made me lucky enough to exist in my delusion, and it somehow be true. But yeah, I assumed I was gonna get anything I wanted, and was not gonna ever have a problem in any way, shape, or form. I did not have that was never a
so. Real quick, Sharon, just so we're kind of clear on it. I don't want to stay on it too crazy, but I just want to, just for clarification, because I mean, all right. So you said that you stayed away from it basically because you learned a long time ago that that's how people get hurt. It wasn't because you were righteous or you thought it was the prudent thing to do, but because you were scared that you may get hurt in pursuit of Kitty. Is that correct? That's what.
Yeah,
that's what I heard.
It was a survival tactic for sure.
Got it. Okay, good enough.
Oh no, I got a question. So Sharon, would the people in your life consider the old you to have been a good man?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so I'm interested. Why do you think they would not see the old you that way?
I was violent. That's why.
Interesting. Violent. I'm assuming you were violent to men, or were you saying like you used to rob and all that? Like you just do crimes, or you just used to fight a lot?
I never robbed nobody. I was how can I just the best way I can explain it without putting too much. I hopped off the porch very young, and I was very successful at hopping off the porch very young. I was one of those people that was able to buy and drive a car before I could get a license.
Okay, so but you've made a transition. You from bad, what some people would assume was a bad man, to what some people would assume now is a good man. You've made that transition.
Yeah, my mentality changed. Yes.
Okay. I don't know if that would help out M. White's original point, but I think that's kind of what he was going to.
Yeah, so you was Marlo Stansfield of the motherfucking street. The Cardi B company. You was Gucci Mane of the motherfucking street.
I wasn't that successful, but in my own little world, yes. In my own little section of the world, I was.
So you found it to be more dangerous to pursue women than actually conducting illegal whatever. We're not going to get into what it was, but we get the idea of what that might be. You found it to be more risky to pursue women than it would to deal with that particular lifestyle. Your risk taking tolerance didn't stop you from that.
Yeah, so my risk taking tolerance for being a part of that business, it was different because I felt, no matter how silly it sounded, I felt like I could control it. I feel like everything was in mind control. When I go and lay down with somebody, I'm taking control away from myself because I'm putting myself in a vulnerable position. First of all, being naked. Number two, being in somebody else's environment. And also, I don't know what is her real intentions. So that's was my thinking at the time.
I think that's fair because it's like that with a lot of guys who in the streets. Like you might be in the street. Like think about Paid in Full, right? You got the guy that Cameron played, right? Who's reckless in every way of life. But then you got the this nigga name Ace. What's the name? Who was, you know, when it came to business, he didn't play, you know, but he wasn't reckless when it came to women, you know, so.
Jay, you muted.
Oh, sorry. You probably did it on purpose now. Can I just say, like, just because you're a man doesn't mean you have to like you're driven by having sex with women. Just because you're a man? Like, is that like odd?
Well, it's no more.
Explain.
It's no more odd than saying that a woman has to be having sex when she's dating somebody.
So it's not real.
You can be a street nigga and a lover boy.
Or you can be a street nigga and not a lover boy, or not a hoe.
The last time I saw a street nigga that wasn't trying to get it was that gay dude in that movie Empire. Like I've never.
I mean, I understand like with a certain lifestyle.
Yeah, it's not common.
Money,
not common.
drugs, this, that. You
They
know,
kind of go hand in hand.
Because Marlo Stanfield had bitches. Like I mean, he's in Baltimore, so it's not hard. You know, you see what happened to her, but like we can't. I never mind. I just think I'm using the wrong movie references here.
Am I saying it the right way? Is it Sharon?
Right.
Sharon didn't. He didn't have bitches. He got into a relationship with one. When the first person he had sex with, he wifed up, right? You were in a relationship.
So listen. So you know what, Jay? I really appreciate.
I know more of the backstory, but it's Sharon's story to tell.
Hold on, Mike.
Yeah, my story's a little wild. So, but yeah,
I've been quiet intentionally because you know that once I hear and it's like my story when stories stop adding up, I just sit back and listen.
I was listening too, but I had questions.
Did you not ask this man if he was having sex outside of a committed relationship? Did you not ask him that?
Ooh, arrest me, daddy.
Are we seeing where the story deviates a little bit here now, or do I need to continue to walk it
I was
down?
supposed to be the angel, but you know, I just had
Go ahead,
to.
you know what, Jay? It'll be better received coming from you. Go ahead.
So, Sharon, the first time. So, is it fair to say that you had sex and you saw what that was over your experience? You saw that if you continued down that path, then you could be set up. You could be in certain situations because of your lifestyle. So you stopped that and you started to be more cautious.
right. So I had one woman at the age when I was outside. Me and her broke up. Then I got into another long relationship, and then my next relationship, I married. So I had
So you're a lover boy.
long-lasting.
So you
I had
love
three
easy.
long-lasting
That's
relationships, and so, but the only reason why I said no is because I didn't marry those other two women I was in long relationships with. I only married one, the one I'm in now.
So whoever you had sex with, you just jumped into a relationship with.
So you only had sex with three people?
Three women in your life, Sharon?
Not the way how you explained it, but pretty much, yeah.
Y'all went together real bad for a couple weeks, and then I'm just messing with you.
Right.
It's not about you. I'm just I just had to,
yes.
Wait,
Did you only had sex with three women?
Yes.
Sharon, you only had sex with three women in your
Yes.
Get that nigga.
You know what? Your wife may be watching, so I appreciate you. I know that's right.
He got to pull a Megan Thee Stallion. He got to tell you. He got to tell you.
Sharon, you know what? You
you hit us right. You hit us with the Bill Clinton. When you say sex, do you mean
oral skill set?
Yeah.
How old are you?
I am 45 in June.
Oh, you 3
I,
women.
I want to highlight a polarity here. Like women, do y'all think most women would? How do you think most women would feel about hearing Sharon's past, that he was, you know, potentially a drug lord before, but now he's reformed and he's a different guy?
You ain't shit for this month.
I know you fucking lying. No, that's not me.
Yes,
That's
it
dude
is.
from Island Love.
I want you to know, but you
I
ain't
was like,
shit.
I would date him. I wouldn't date him.
Like, you ain't shit for this asking this question. Go ahead, bro.
I just
You
want to know.
wouldn't date him.
Hey, Sharon, you I'm gonna start calling
Jay, you would
shit.
date him?
Like,
I feel
as soon
like
as
it's
you walk
still in
in,
him.
wasn't me.
Something like that, like a drug lord. I feel like it's still in him. It
Yeah,
would still
but
be in him.
ladies,
I would date a drug lord.
hold on. Not that he's a drug lord, but we know Sharon. We watching the conversation, right? And we find out that Sharon, in his past, he was a drug lord at some point, right? But this is who he is now. How do you view Sharon now after knowing that?
First of all, true.
I still think he's a drug lord.
Well, I would say this. You know, I mean, and this is just I get like slack sometimes. I would be I take a person for who they are, where they are in that moment, and like I don't try to hold a past. I look at like what was the reason why you did this? I ask questions.
Jay,
Were you raising yourself?
hold on, Jay. Is Sharon more intriguing now than he was?
No.
Probably not to the average person.
I'm asking you.
Oh, to me personally, is he intriguing?
Is he more intriguing than he was before you knew that?
I just want to highlight, bro. This is what you do when you ask them a direct question and makes.
Hold on, no.
I said no. No.
Well, Keisha, you saying you're in the army, so I understand. You go.
Yeah. Is he? So I can't really answer. It's not. I don't look at him as like, oh, he's intriguing now or he's not.
So,
no, I'm just saying this is. I don't look at him as like he's intriguing. I think where I am right now, I can only look at it as I would prefer a more wholesome person, somebody who's not in the streets. That's just where I am right now. So,
You don't think he? That's his
He's
past,
not
though.
in the
You
streets.
got on me, but you got on me like you wouldn't. You got on me like you wouldn't date him. Like
no, I was just asking.
Jay, do you like men who are intelligent but have experience, street smarts, and have been in the streets before in their life, but they're different now?
Yes. Okay. I want somebody who is going to be able to protect me. You know, I want to know that you got the gun on the side. You know, I need to.
Got you. Okay, Day, how do you feel about that? How do you feel knowing that Sharon is a great, safe man now, but he used to be a dangerous man, or in the streets?
Well, prior what he said, I would have dated him, but after I heard what he said, I was second guessing. I'm like, nah. I
Oh,
don't
you
like
said you like
trouble.
nerds. I remember. Well, Sharon on the
Yes,
little
I
nerds.
do. I do like not nerds. I like men who know how to treat a lady.
Yeah, like
And
butlers,
don't call
right?
ladies bitches. That's
Nerds don't know how to treat ladies.
But see, that's the difference. Like, that's the difference, though. Like, I think women appreciate the maturation. Like, they like the transformative nature of dudes from bad to good. We don't. We not like that. That no man is like, yo.
He was a different.
But regardless of the fact, the attraction triggers are very different. Most dudes is not like, yo, she used to be turning them tricks though, but she here now. Like, it's just not a thing, yo. It's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, but even further than that,
and I just want to clarify some things. I was never a drug lord, by the way. I was never that. I was never that. So I just want to make some clear situations. And I don't call women bees. I do that.
Sharon, we gonna fill the
don't do
gaps
that,
in
bro.
ourselves since you wasn't willing to give us information. I'm gonna fill the gap in what I want to fill it in with. Now, the thing about this is, Paul, you got that one. Jay, how do you feel when you see a man that's a good father?
I think it's very attractive.
How about you, Lakeisha? Okay, it like something that attracts you.
I agree.
It attracts you. Okay.
Yeah.
And True. How do you feel when you see a woman that's a good mom?
It's attractive. It's
It
respectable.
attracts you. How about you, Jim White? You see a woman, she's a good mom.
I kind of think that's, she's supposed to do that. I'm like, I would be more amazed if she was a bad mom.
So you are like, it's like if she see a woman that's a good mom, it's like she's supposed to do that. You don't really, it don't pull you in. It's not like, oh, let me get to know this girl. Because I think that women like experienced men, and I think it makes sense. Because men are, a lot of times you want leaders. So you want a man that's experienced, you want a man that's been through something because it forged him into something new. And I think that's the difference between men and women. When you see a man that's already a dad and he's out here in the field and he's being a good dad, you like, yo, that's proof of concept. I love that. I want him for me. Or they say a lot of women like married men, right? They say you put your ring on and all of a sudden, all of these women want you, right? You want somebody else's man, somebody who's already been out here and did it. I think it's different with men. I don't think men necessarily are like, oh, you already in the field, you got kids already, you a mom. I love that. That attracts me. I don't think most men have that. Or the same thing with the bodies and all that type of, oh, you already been fucking a lot? Oh, come be my wife. I don't think we see it that way. And I think I tried to prove it through my line of questioning, but
you can't, dog. They saw what you was doing. That's why she gave you the 46-second no.
Yeah,
I didn't know you was going there. I really was just answering that's my first thought. I don't see somebody with their kids and think I'm gonna wipe you up now because you got kids. That does not cross.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing, but it's.
We
don't see it that way.
As a single man with no kids, I would kind of, it would prohibit me from moving forward because I would want to start my own family.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. We had the conversation about dating single mothers. I was the only person that said that I would not date a woman who didn't have kids, right? I think that was even with that being true. When I see them with their kids, that's what you thought I thought, Mark. It's not what I think. Like,
wait.
So I'm not automatically thinking, oh, her being a good mom that's default. That's what you supposed to do. I need to find out when I get to know you, how much influence does your son's father have in his household, or how much sway does he still hold over you? It's a different set of problems, but those are the things she gets credit for. I'm not gonna give a woman credit for being a good mom. That's your fucking job. Like there's no cookie for that. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, having a great co-parenting relationship, bonus points. I'm saying effective communication, and household management, great. Not devaluing the man's role in your son's life, and like keeping the hero a hero, mega bonus points. But just the fact that she's a good mom, don't give like that's the fuck you supposed to do.
So I guess the question could be, Willie, what makes a woman a good mom, or what makes a man a good?
I gave you mine. What makes a good woman?
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, what makes? Because he said,
I don't think men. I don't think men should have any.
So the question.
I don't think men have any say on what makes a man a good man, because unless they date men, because I'm saying the asset doesn't determine its value. Oh, okay.
So can I ask a question? Okay, so well, I like to almost answer a little bit in this way, or I want to know. So basically, okay, so Willie, I'll use you. So would you look at me as a good woman?
Yeah, for what I've known of you, you don't give me none you ever sold pussy vibes. You don't come across masculine. I don't believe you done sucked 30 dicks in the past month, and you can hold a conversation. You work hard for what I see. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, so that was a joke. Because they're gonna crucify me in the comments,
No, you haven't sucked 30 dicks in the past month.
No, I said 10. I was only joking.
You said 10.
Oh, I didn't even hear that part.
Oh,
10,
no, shit.
Okay.
10 would disqualify.
They're putting no clip out like this. Anyway, so okay. So would I be somebody you would date? And it's just me being hypothetical. I have kids. Would I be somebody that you would date?
Wait, say what?
Would I be somebody that you would want to date?
You have children. If you didn't have children, I wouldn't even pay you attention.
Okay. All right. So you're saying that if you are really paying attention to how the relationship that I would have with my relationship with my kid's father, right? So yes. I have 3 daughters with my ex-husband, and he's been on and off, and we haven't had the best relationship. We've had a domestic violent relationship. So would you take that into consideration?
Yeah, because I want to see how that affects me after we decide to commingle. Because what can happen is this nigga can't be going upside your head if you my woman. Like he has to
Of
die
course.
at that point.
Like
Like
you're the man, you take care of that. I'll
exactly.
follow your lead, baby.
Also, though, I would want to see that you're taking the steps to make sure you manage that before I come into the picture.
Oh, 1000%.
Respectfully, Jay. I wouldn't advise no man to date a woman with 3 daughters, especially if the father is like active in their life and potentially is violent, because the propensity for him to take something or anything out of pocket and attack your ass is very, 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 very high. And I'm speaking as a father of 2 daughters. If for whatever reason my daughters was in somebody else's house, the moment they tell me anything this other man has done to them, I'm a pretty logical and rational person most of the time. I will not in truth be able to maintain rationality trying to figure out what's happened to my children. And I think that can go wrong.
I would, if my kid was in that situation, I would say this. I would feel the same way. However, that's not where I am right now. I mean, my kids are in their 20s, and you know that's obviously the reason why I left him, just because he had a drinking issue.
That's completely different. Yeah, no, I'm talking about. Yeah, that's completely different.
So I was just asking this because I just wanted to know, like, where I am if that wasn't an issue. And say I didn't have any communication with this person, my kids are grown because of that, would that be still something that you consider? Are you considering that?
It don't matter.
I'm not even gonna hold you. If your kids are out of the house, I don't even consider them as kids. Like that wouldn't even be in my thought. I'm talking about the ones that are 6, 7, 11, 14. Okay. Like those, you got grown-up kids. Like those are great. So you don't have kids, you have adult children. So that's what I wouldn't even look at it that way. Like that's.
We're gonna jump into a clip, but I did want to say just on that point real quick. I think after a certain age, then it becomes more weird for a woman to not have children at that point. At that point, you're like, damn, well, you know, what's up with her? Why has she not even explored this? So yeah, if she's like way up in her 30s and all that,
not
like, okay,
everybody,
Lakeisha, you didn't try to have children at that point yet, then I think that's even more of a reason not to date them. I don't think that most men are trying to avoid women with children. I think you want to avoid women with badass kids or dangerous baby fathers, right? So those are, you just don't want the problems, right? If you can go into that transition and they have a well-behaved child who is going to respect your authority and the dude is not running interference, you cool. Those are the main reasons why people don't want to deal with that. It's not that people don't like children, but the main issues are those two that I just mentioned. So I'm not one of those guys who would say, oh, never, you know, recreational use and all that goofy shit. I mean, to each his own. If you if you didn't have children yourself, a man in his 20s, I wouldn't tell him to do that. But a man that's a little older, 30s, 40s, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, it's still an individual decision because you have to understand that it's a immense responsibility that you're taking on, and I don't believe in being a half-ass father. You either in it all the way, 100, or nothing.
Yeah, and I say that my reason is I'm not having any more kids, and it wouldn't be fair for me to get with a woman that's 40 fucking plus that decides all of a sudden when she sees me with my son and daughter that, oh, he's a great dad, I want babies now. It's not fair for me as a man to make her choose between loving me and being fulfilled as a woman via motherhood, and that's the choices you'd have to make because I am not giving her any more babies. So it's just unfair for me. So more than me just not dating single women, I'm intentionally staying away from them because to date me would mean they'd have to sacrifice that choice.
I think y'all gotta stop giving this blanket advice of like don't date single moms, because a lot of these niggas is clean up niggas. It just is what it is. You're gonna have to. Somebody got to do it, right? Somebody got to do it. And if it ain't gonna be True, and if it ain't gonna be M White, and if it ain't gonna be Trev, somebody got to take care of these little boys and these little girls, all right?
Yeah, the men they settle for. We all know stepdaddies are niggas that women wouldn't date if they didn't have kids. That's who settles. That's who takes care of them.
That was crazy. Holy shit. Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna jump into some super chats real quick.
To,
I'll let you go ahead, Keisha. Then we're gonna jump into super chats.
I gotta say it.
Go ahead. Okay. Go ahead. You first.
Because I say that because I heard a lot about being 46 with no kids, but that's a choice. You know what I mean? But I always get men that say, what's wrong with you? I don't want to date a woman that's in her 40s that don't have kids. I just spent all my life in the military and I just didn't have kids, and I'm fully cool with that. But when I meet guys and they say, and I tell them I'm 46 with no kids, that's the thing I get. Like, they're like, oh, what's wrong with you? But you know, who didn't want you? And I get all that. So yeah.
Do you want to have children? Do you want to have children?
No.
Janet Jackson did it at 50.
Never did.
So I
don't give a damn.
So Willie, if you was to date a woman that's similar to Lakeisha that says I don't want to have children, would that still be a issue for you if she says that I don't want to have children ever? Would that still be an issue?
Yeah, because I know that when women say stuff like that, they're saying they don't want to have children right now. Everything that a woman says is conditional on how she feels in that moment, and I understand that, and that's not something that I'm willing to risk. I will never risk my future situation or station in life on what a woman feels right now. So when we meet, she doesn't want children, for example. But then I also know that
21 to 46.
As active as a father as I am, it happens even with women who already have kids. As active as a father as I am, the coach, all of the things that I'm doing, these women tendly don't have dads who are active in their children's lives that way. And in the back of their minds, they say, you know what? It would be nice to have a pregnancy where I'd be supported the whole time. And they start thinking about shit like that. And that's just not something that I'm willing to do. But I'm 1,000,000,000% clear and transparent about that up front.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I was just interested in because
no, like if it was Lakeisha, so let's magical world, it's Lakeisha, right? I understand why Lakeisha hasn't had kids. She's in the military and she did the wisest thing she could have did. Her military career would have been significantly hindered if she'd had children during it, because she is a single woman, a single black woman in the military on top of that. But now let's say fast forward, I meet 46-year-old Lakeisha and we hit it off. There's going to be a limit to which that I'm willing to entertain that relationship, because I understand that at the end of the day that she can still change her mind. And like we tell men, just because a woman was texting you about how she was going to bust it open and how you can get all the pussy you want, if she get over there and she say no, the answer is no. We have to respect the woman's right to change her mind. So the fact that I'm aware of that, then I also would say this. What would be the deal breaker, or let's say deal breaker, the tiebreaker, if she wouldn't have a hysterectomy. If she's like, I'm 45 and I've had a hysterectomy and I can't have children, completely different conversation. But as long as children are viable, geriatric pregnancy or not, as long as children are viable, I am not going to date that woman.
Okay. And so do you have? Did you get? Oh.
On the reverse of that, Willie, if I meet a man that hasn't had kids, that's a no for me, because I know that potentially he would want kids. I won't date somebody that want kids. Period. So that's where I'm at in life.
And Willie, I just got one question. Did you get a vasectomy by any chance?
Fuck no.
No. Oh, yeah. I'm just curious because you say you don't want to have the children part, so I was just curious.
That's why I'm very, very careful about where I stick my dick. One, and then two, I didn't get a vasectomy because of some of these side effects that are potentially possible for that. So I just didn't want to risk it. So it was easier for me to quit fucking bitches in mass and just be in a relationship or just abstain than it would be for me to go get a vasectomy, worry about my testosterone dropping, all those other things that could happen. That even though they say they may not happen, the studies show that once a man has a vasectomy, his testosterone does take a drop over the next 10 years. And then two, it's also still, even when you get it burnt, a 1% chance of having it done. So, excuse me, a 1% chance of you, excuse me, a 0.1% chance of you conceiving a child with a woman that's fertile. So
you don't want to be in an ABBA situation.
No, because even if I would take care of my kids. Like that's one thing I've never had my children where I was married to their mothers. So I've never had a child outside of marriage. But in his situation, for me, the way that, obviously you're aware of what happened, that would never be me. I'm never going to tell a woman that like that baby's your problem. If I want her to have an abortion, I'm not just going to shun her. I'll just push her down some stairs.
Boy,
all right. But he's joking and he's not serious.
Yeah.
Contributes to
that's a joke. We're gonna jump into some super chats.
And furthermore, Abba, he explained the situation. He's not a deadbeat. He just was trying to help the woman who have a baby he didn't want.
And the only thing I was just correlating is the fact that he said he had a low sperm count. The low sperm count part, I was kind of like trying to talk about, not the down the stairs. Boy,
and why you got it.
All right. Well, we know podcast with the $5. Shout out to the 4.5 men on the panel. Ha 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 ha. Strike and get rich. 199. Miss Pearl, are you on? Oh, she ain't on the camera. And White really walked her motherfucking ass down after she called him a whole fake ass nigga, and they got all that logic together. He kidding.
Can I read this one? I'm just playing.
He kidding with the $2. If you ain't married and you're fucking, you're a hoe. If there is no spectrum, that is true, sir. You are 100% right. Striking it rich with the $4.99. When you're married to a woman who used to be in a rap videos, you have to defend promiscuous women. The person on the panel knows who I'm talking about.
Hey, real quick. Yeah, the person on the panel does know she knows who he's talking about. However, we want to, motherfucker. We don't want to be in the back chat having to guess, nigga. Just add her. You done spent money, quit being a bitch. Just add her, like put her name in it. Like now we got to go back here and play fucking Dick Tracy and Darkwing Duck to figure out which one of these girls he talking about up here. Fuck, it's annoying.
Carry on.
Windy City Assassin with the $17. I mean, Windy City Assassin 17 with $2. Traditionally, her father is supposed to vet him. Correct. My sweet brother Noopsy with the $9.99. Of all the hundreds of double standards, it being acceptable for a man to be a hoe while a woman can't is the one they seem to protest the most. In the words of the philosopher Hink, this is nasty work. Striking it rich with the $1.99. Sharon was a club promoter, a DJ, a mixtape rapper, affiliate of the New York hip hop scene. What else? A successful podcaster, an avid favorite of women amongst this space and other spaces, a role model of men that women put them up to be. All right, you going?
Hey, I see why you tell my story better than I do. I get it now. I get why you tell that story way better than me. And I was
Sharon, you know, club promoters get all the cats, Sharon.
If you say so.
Only if you're
They also say handsome man get all the cat too. I know. I don't even know my name when I walk down the street. They be like, "Hey, handsome." So you know.
Hey, hey, Sharon, it's they. I typically don't only address the ain't the bitches in the chat, but I do defend friends and family when I hear about it. And someone's talking about your wife. You want to address that or no?
No, I don't address people that go after those kind of targets, right? If you have a disagreement with me, then come at me directly. I'm very easy to find. You could communicate with me. I never respect a man that goes after women and children. There's something wrong with you if you want to go after women and children. You probably in part of the Epstein files, possibly. That's probably what your mentality is, because you're going after women and children. You're not a man. And again, we got to just call out coward men and understand what masculinity is. And that's not a part of masculinity whatsoever. We're supposed to protect the so-called weaker vessels out here. So like, it's just a strange thing to hear and see.
MC the heaviest tits 9,000 with the 99. We like to see that men are caring with children, or we like to see men are caring with. We like to see how caring men are with children or an animal. If he's a single dad or a great uncle, that's attractive. Me University 1411 with the $2. Everything after the first domino falls is trash.
Wow. We appreciate everybody for supporting. Listen.
And what was y'all saying? What y'all saying about Abba?
I'm putting my cape on for Abba for a good reason.
Why?
You gonna put your cape on?
I'm gonna rip that bitch off.
Yeah, and listen, in White, this would be the first thing that you and I are diametrically opposed on.
All right,
this would be the very first thing in the history of life.
You got to understand my logic.
Wait, another super chat just came in.
All right. Striking the Rich 199. Liars are cowards. Derek Jackson without the body.
That's really like $2.40.
Again, we appreciate everybody who chimed in. Go ahead.
All right. So all right. My logic filter and why I'm putting the cape on for ABBA. I'll say why after I tell you why what the cape would. All right. So I watched part of the streams, and what he was saying was he went to support the young woman having an abortion that he did not want her to have. He wanted to have a baby, and she had him kind of in limbo and was dragging him emotionally through the ranks because he did not want her to delete the baby. He wanted to keep the baby. Then she kept having. He flew down there to go to the abortion appointment with her. She went to the abortion clinic and then changed her mind. And then kept booking appointments and having him come to abortion.
And wait, I got to stop you there. What about the second one? What about the second woman?
Boy, Trev.
It was the second woman?
You know how to fuck
Oh, okay. Did you hear it? Did you hear the conversations and all that?
You know how to fuck.
All I'm gonna say is when these people listen, one thing I hate is people who virtue signal. The people who try to make it look like they are better than other men sitting out here. He was destroying Fresh for that same shit. Same shit. You went and got an Asian woman pregnant and then told her, yeah, don't have that. Delete the baby. He said it worse than that. So fuck him for that. I don't like that virtue signaling shit. When men try to act like they are holier than thou and then they out here doing the same shit, fuck you. That's for real.
Sure.
So
why do y'all think I got the cape on for him?
Because she did the
because you didn't know because you don't know the whole story.
Yeah, that's what I knew it to be. Because y'all
okay, but all right, what's the primary reason why I even put it on to begin with?
Hold on, listen. Y'all looked at me crazy when I said push her down the stairs, right? Where do you think I got that reference from?
Oh, that's what he said.
That's crazy, right? So this is the thing. Anytime, like I knew that you didn't know the whole story because that was the only way that we could be on opposite sides of this.
Yeah. All right, but before you go into it, let me just say this one part. The reason why I was willing to
you going to jump and what? You about to get jumped.
Yeah. I got y'all. I don't know the whole story. I'm ignorant. Y'all got more information than me. I'll concede. However, my reason for caping for him is strictly because all the shit Myron be saying about Black Americans and Black American women, get him dragging his ass through the coals. I support every fucking moment he go do it. That's why I want the cape for him. That's it. That's all.
I knew that's why you did it because you don't like. I got that. But this is the thing, right, bro? Yeah, she did everything you said. She booked the 7 appointments. He came down for 2 when then quit coming. And that's right. But then to Trev's point, but what about the second lady? What about the lady? He was like, I don't give a fuck about that. You or that baby. That baby's your problem. And that recorded phone call that she just played like 3-4 days ago. You can't. This is almost as bad as a preacher getting caught in this type of scandal because that's how hard those niggas virtue signal on their channel. They virtue signal like a motherfucker. But then this is the type of conversations they're having offline. They are literally no better than a woman talking about, yeah, go out there and be a hoe, suck all the dicks you can while she's going home, married, cooking and cleaning and tending to her husband. It's the exact same thing. So when you said you was on their side, I knew immediately you didn't know the whole story.
Yeah, I'd like to add something. So I don't buy all that stuff that he was telling. Like I think he's calculating. I think he's intelligent, right? Yeah, so he knows how to. Yeah, so he knows how to tell people like, I'm trying to be fair, and all this. Like, no, fuck out of here. So when he went down there for the first abortion, right? So the girl was like, all right, you're not my husband or whatever, and we're dating, and it seems like you're changing a little bit. So I don't know if I want to keep this baby, right? So she was like, all right, let's get an abortion. She wanted an abortion. So this nigga was like, all right, I'm going to support you through this. I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna fly down, I'm gonna support you. And then you get there and you say, this might change us forever. This might change me forever, but I'll support you through this. And you think that girl not going to have reservations about like, oh, you know what? You telling me this is going to change our relationship forever? Maybe I don't want to get rid of the baby, right? And you going to act like you don't think that's going to change, make her have a second thought.
We drifted off topic a bit. We're gonna go ahead and jump into another clip real quick. No, it's not your fault. We all kind of participated, but we're just gonna jump right back into the topic. It's a clip coming up though.
Carry the voice of justice. Carry the voice of justice. Women carry the sound, the voice of care, right? So when we talk about emotional intelligence and then we talk about the family that you grew up in, If you grew up in a home where maybe there were two parents, right? But your mother was the voice, right? Maybe your dad worked a lot, he was away a lot, didn't really say much. When you grow up, if you want to be a wife, right, you become married, your brain is only used to the voice of care. So it will attempt to mute your husband's voice of justice. And so that will sound like, well, why are you talking to me like that? When they just talking. I don't like the way you saying that, right? They try to rear the kids. Why are you talking to the kids like that? I don't like how you talking to them. And that is an attempt for your brain to revert back to what's familiar, where you simply have a house where the voice of care is the predominant house. And so if you are successful, you will mute your husband's voice and he won't have a voice, or your husband will say, I can't do this anymore, and leave. Same thing for the men. If you grew up in a house where the woman's voice was the largest voice, you may determine that you don't need to be in the house as much. She got it, right?
Hey, where
Initial
y'all
thoughts, and
find
I
out
got a
the
question
good
for y'all.
These are great clips.
Initial thoughts, and I'll grab a question for y'all.
My first thoughts is I think that there's validity, a lot of validity in what she's saying in regards to like people normalizing conversation styles and the way people parent and growing up. So earlier today, I was having a conversation with my daughter about what needed to be done, and it was in a stern tone, and she got upset. Right now, somebody that, like I was referencing earlier, didn't understand why I was saying this, what I was doing, may have stepped in and tried to prevent me from saying, hey, no, this is necessary, that you have to do this spelling so you can complete your spelling test. I know you're upset right now, but you're going to have to push through this. And that's it. That's all. There's no, I'm going to let you just go to sleep and baby, you know, you need to get this done. I'm telling you, this needs to be done. Her mother would not have taken that approach, right? If you see a lot of son husbands or men who like never got any consequences to their reaction, like consequences in their life. And a lot of that stuff comes from being babied by their mom and not having a father there, or the father not being allowed to properly discipline the child. And he was able to skirt all discipline and all consequences. And I think that's an example of what she was saying about just care. Because typically people who operate with care don't also have that duality where discipline is at the forefront. And discipline is important, especially when you're dealing with boys, to ensure that they move forward on the right process with life, and with girls too, so that they understand that things need to go a certain way. So yeah, I agree.
So I do have a question to pose. I'll let you get your initial thought of those, Sharon. You raise your hand, and then I got a question. You go ahead.
I think I would love to see the full thing of what she said. I think is an opportunity there for men to understand that they have power in their household. If your wife is challenging your authority or something, you should be able to explain and express why you are approaching this this tactic on your child at the time and why you are doing so. If you have to be, how Marcus just explained, why he had to be stern in that moment. If your wife is challenged why you being so stern, you should be as a man to explain to her, this is why I'm being stern at the moment, because whatever that situation is. Men should not want to cower because the woman is questioning a situation at hand because they see things differently. That's the beauty of women, right? They usually crossing our eyes and down our teeth because we could have horse blindness sometimes, and sometimes we could be too rigid at a long period of time. And sometimes we do need to just reflect and sometimes, oh, you know what, I got to soften up on this part and not always be militant in every aspect of parenting, because the men are also nurturing as well. We nurture our children as well. A man being stern and happy and fun, we are all those things. We are not just punishers in our household. And we got to stop creating this idea that men are only the discipline part of parenting. No, we also nurture and love our children as well too. So don't be afraid to explain to your wife, hey, I did it because X, Y, and Z. And also your wife should be able to understand if you explain it full, sometimes you want to have that strong tone, and then sometimes you want to have that loving tone. But don't shy away from it just because your woman voiced a concern.
I think that if a woman,
So I do have I want to present the question though. So
wait, hold on.
I'll give you a little
answer that
what
first.
happened?
That first question. If your
There
woman,
wasn't no question. You could though.
if your woman doesn't understand that, you've already fucked up. There should be no time when your wife is questioning you about how you're talking to the kids when you're being disciplined. It's inherently it's a safe assumption to say that we're not like, you get your motherfucker, not that ratchet shit. Obviously, there's room for interjection. But if I'm telling my son to get his ass up and go do what I told him to do, and the way that I say it bothers her, if she respects me as one, her man, and two, more so the mother, I mean, not just her husband, but the father of these kids, she's not going to question me. And if she were to, it would be after the fact in private. Because again, you don't question the father in front of the children. But I am of the belief that if a woman thinks it's okay to even question him when he's leading with discipline, which is his form of love in that moment is discipline, she doesn't respect him as a man anyway. Because as soon as something goes bad towards her, she's likely, can't say always, but there's a higher probability that she will do the same thing to him.
Let me just add this real quick, just 15 seconds.
I want to rebuttal that.
Not questioning. You sow dissent amongst the kids and what y'all doing. The other thing you can't do is remove power over the mother to discipline, or like what she's saying don't matter, just do what you want. You also can't do that because you'll effectively make it so she can't manage the kids when you're not there.
But yeah, that goes. That was not.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't.
No, I know it wasn't. I was just adding to it.
That was going to be my premise as well. That would be another opportunity to show that, hey, you can have discernment in front of the children. Say, hey, me and your mother can have a back and forth of disagreements, and have where they could understand that just because we disagree doesn't mean that we got to have an argument and that we got to go to some kind of dangerous situation for the children. I should be able to say, hey, babe, no, this is why I did X, Y, Z. And the kids is going to be able to respect that I could calm myself down and have control of the house. And they will also understand how to have conflict resolution in real time because they've seen their parents have conflict resolution right in front of them. So it's another opportunity to show growth with your children. So I wanted
this also provided that you have somebody who's a sound person who knows how to communicate. I think like almost what Willie was saying, there's certain interjections, but with people who maybe are constantly yelling at their kids and the kids aren't opening up to them, and then they wonder why they always go to the mom, or if the mom's like that and they always go to the dad because they are walking on eggshells or things like that. I think that you're talking about a person who actually knows how to parent properly and knows how to understand how their energy can give off. They know how to discipline their kids in an appropriate way. Obviously, I would never condone somebody questioning the other person in front of their children. I've seen that before, and it never is good, because now the kids know how to pull from whatever the opposite side is that's being the parent that's being questioned.
I wish growing up that my mom wasn't the dominant person in the house with a male figure in there. Because I've said before, my dad was always the, he don't want no trouble. He just real nonchalant, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like, not saying I turned out bad, but I will say I would love to have more of a male presence, you know what I mean? To know, as I got older and was in the military meeting different type of men, excuse my French, knowing when to shut the fuck up. Because as I came up in the military, it took me to maybe 30s and up to figure that out, versus, in my earlier part where all I knew was my mom, she ran it. And when I say she ran it, she ran a household. You know what I mean? And maybe my brother would have turned out a little different. So, yeah.
So the question I did want to ask to the panel is, I'll just give you a little insight first. So there was an actual decade where my father worked 2 full-time 8-hour jobs. So naturally, there would be much time where he's away. Do we think that there is some type of a balance that the parents can develop if one parent is just not going to be away. I mean, going to be away. Or we also have to talk about men that are deployed sometimes, right? He's just not going to be there. So do we think that there is a balance where people can have their significant other be able to be on the same page, be able to hold that discipline, and be able to keep that respect and communication going with the other side?
No.
I don't think in the military, that if you use the military, no. Nope.
No.
Not
So,
as far
all right.
as
So,
deployments. Once you go, you go.
as two veterans, what would you say that may have happened with your children, or what you may have seen with some of your colleagues
Kids out with
during that process?
There's no different than like with a relationship with an adult, and it's even more so with children. It's out of sight, out of mind. If my kids know that I'm gonna be gone for 9 to 12 months, they are automatically thinking as soon as dad is gone, I ain't got to do shit that he had me do because my mom ain't gonna make me do it. Because the majority of the times, the moms do not make them do it. It's not a big a deal for him to go outside and do something. It's not a big a deal for him to go outside and pick up paper. It's not a big a deal for him to clean his room. Those aren't things that moms tend to make their kids do when there is a dad in the home. So for those 9 to 12 months, they are all about the mom. That's why they make military members take classes on how to come back home. We have to reacclimate to our families. We can't go from, we gone for 9 months and then immediately walk in and be back on your drill sergeant shit. Be back on your stern discipline, your stern love. You have to go back and ease yourself back in. And that's what happens to the majority of military men. Military women, when they deploy and they leave kids, it's almost as if they get to just come right back to where they were because all they have to do is do the nurturing shit again. Hey, mama love you, pick you up, buy you stuff because you done saved up a bunch of money for deployment, saying cooking food, and you just get that soft time back. So it's a little easier for women to adjust from that in the military, at least.
I think if that's the case, and I know those are kind of one-offs because it's such a small representation of people having families that are, of that lifestyle. So I appreciate that we're sharing that, but it's such a small subset of the society. It has some validity, right? I would say if I seen that in the capacity of a military family or someone who's away, that there's a disconnect between the man and the woman, because the way I look at leadership as a man is my spirit should echo through her, through those children, regardless of if I'm there or not. Now, I do understand that from a children's perspective, they can't identify with your presence or your familiarity. I understand that. But then I would say, to your point, Willie, there's a disconnect that she can't mimic the carrying out of objective. There should be something there that exists regardless of if I'm there or not. And that's even to a person working 12 hours or whatever. And I think a lot of times people get with people who don't have similar parental styles, or at least understand each person's strength. If I'm with this woman, she was vetted. If we had kids and we married, she was vetted. So there's nothing that's going to happen in my house that I don't approve, regardless if I'm there or not. And I think people do this. They disconnect each other. Like, she's the mom, he the dad. What I think should happen is going to happen. No, she should run everything by me, whether I'm there or not, at least in my opinion. And I think a lot of times people don't run their households like that, which is why you see the discourse between themselves as well as the children. There needs to be an understanding of who the hierarchy, the structure of sort. If you see mom, you talking to mom, you talking to dad. At least that's how I've always seen it, and I'll land.
Have any of y'all ever noticed a difference in like dating people? Because I think she was speaking also to like not just the relationship with the kids, but how it functions as a dynamic within dating, the people who operate like this. So have any of y'all ever dealt a woman that, or a man that was raised primarily by one parent, and how did that affect the way in which the interaction with them was, being from the opposite sex?
Women who have households that the mother was the primary, like she said, voice, never works.
Yeah, it's tougher. I think that it does aid a child to get a difference of how both parties engage with them. Tone, shared energies of sorts. But again, I'm going to hold the parents primarily accountable for that. What she said made a lot of sense as far as, the woman is displaying love. But I think that it was dangerous is that she made it seem like that could only come from the woman. A man approaching a child in correction is love. Now, yelling, screaming, berating, that's a different thing. But if he's speaking and he's instructing, he's loving that child. And I don't know why we, separate it like that. Like, oh, he the man, he only coming with discipline. No, we love what we produce. We know that. So,
which is why a lot of times the women will say like, oh, wait till your dad gets home, I'm going to tell your dad. And then it instills that certain fear. I mean, I grew up in 2 separate households, and they were both a single parent at some point. I would spend the majority of the time with my dad, and there is a huge difference from when I was with my mom. My mom was very lenient. I can talk on the phone to whoever I wanted to at any time of night. My dad, he wasn't playing those games. It was, academics, and it was structure. And however, with that, it was the yelling and, very scared and things like that. But so I do, I know most people on here agree with, having that male structure, like you have the kids grow up better, or however you guys want to word it, when you have a male that is present. So.
Sharon, if you're talking,
did anybody else want to? No, I was gonna. Did anybody else want to answer that question? I know Willie and True did so far.
Nah, I was on mute because I didn't want y'all to hear me screaming at my kids since we talking about parenting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if anybody else wants to take a crack at that question, go ahead.
I'll add.
It's
been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute since I talked. I agree, particularly with True. I think a lot of people, like I've said before, we just have a bad habit of sexing our way through situations and figuring it out afterwards. Like, I don't know why we don't have these questions, like you were saying, and this be a part of our vetting conversation. And I've kind of answered it for myself, because I said a lot of the times when you ask these questions, if you're rooted in answering those or asking those, it's because you don't want to reveal the fact that you all are not compatible. Like, maybe you guys are attracted to each other and it's some great chemistry, but compatibility is completely different. The way that you parent your kids, your styles, the way that you interact with them, your mindsets. That's why he was asking, like, oh, well, if they were raised by one parent, like, what type of mental dynamic does that do? A lot of that has to be discussed, like you were saying, before you even had kids, because once you have kids, I don't understand why you all want to already be acquiesced to the children's best well-being. So if that mother is not as stern, just like we were saying, even if I'm absent and I'm not there, something should still be in place to structure that child so that they're not getting it in their head like, oh, there's a way I could play. Like, no, mom is still here. There's still a parent. There's still structure. I get it. Like, this happens. But I think a lot of this is rooted in a lack of communication, consistency, and unity, as he was saying, with those two adults before the kids even come there. Like, you can't spill the milk and then be trying to clean it up at the same time. You have to really think about what parenting is, because it's a lifelong commitment. It's not an 18-year sentence, and then when your kids get 18, it's, oh, I'm done, I'm free. No, we're not. Like, I'm 41, I still need my parents. So again, this is very layered and it's very complex, but I think honestly it starts with communication. What upbringing did you have? Because that's going to bleed into your parenting. And then based on that, what type of parenting do you want to look like? And how are you going to proactively make that conducive to your child's well-being? Not your happiness, not your situation or your deviation, just your child. I'll leave it at that.
You brought up a good point. That's a good point you just said, Ms. Pearl. Made me think of my mom, because maybe part of the reason me not wanting to have kids, because I never wanted to be like my mom. You know what I'm saying? She was very, very dominant, very, very aggressive, very, very, you know what I'm saying, disrespectful, very, just very, you know what I mean? And I used to say I would never want to be like her, but if that's all I knew, though, because my father wasn't teaching me shit. So I think the military kind of raised me. I was with them, but the military is what raised me. So I only really saw the environment that I grew up in. And that was deploying, moving, going around everywhere, but I never really learned how to be because of how she was. And I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying.
20% all the time.
Is that a fair statement from your experience? Majority of the music is about sex most of the time. Yes or no?
Yes.
I'm not putting that on you. Okay. What else? Is that a go first?
They like the girls twerking in the back of the music.
They like the girls twerking in the back of the music. Okay, let's talk about twerking because I have a complex view on twerking. Now, culturally, when I look at other cultures, a lot of cultures got some form of twerking in it. The hula, the belly dance, the African fertility dances. But it's kind of different in the videos. Would you say it's different in the kind of baddie culture? Oh, your face got all screwed up. I love the interaction. Tell me why. Break down what's going on. What's different? What's different? No, let's talk about it. What's different? Because now, good hand. What's different about the cultural expression, which may be sexual when you see different cultures having sensual parts in their dance or in their expression, but particularly how it shows up with like baddies? What's different about it? You and you.
I feel like cultural, like they don't wear as much as revealing clothes.
What's different?
Like some people do it for the male gaze, and then some people just do it just because they're.
Ooh, somebody got deep for the male gaze. Somebody been reading and listening to podcasts. Okay, what is the male gaze? Quick break.
The male gaze is like the attention span of a man.
The attention span of a. Oh Lord, what were you gonna say?
I would say like, because the culture wise of twerking, like some of it does it for the history of it, and then in others it could be like on top of cars, bikinis,
right,
and just for the music.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that some of the sexual expression that you're starting to see in your reality shows, in your music, you're telling me, is not the same kind of expression that you see in like cultural heritage and history? It's a little different.
Yeah.
So what is that? What is the difference? What is that? You know how you taste something, you're trying to figure out what it is?
Yeah.
What you think it is? You want some help? It's called exploitation. It's called capitalism. Right? And what we need to understand is that the world will exploit your mind. The world will exploit your heart. It'll exploit your energy. And it will exploit your body. The only way to not allow that to happen is for you to have control over it. And if you don't, you'll be a lot like some of your peers where you're like, how did I get into this situation? You got to be able to control what goes into your what?
My mind.
You got to control what goes into what?
Your heart.
Your what?
Energy.
Your what?
Body.
So, do we really agree with her? Is it's different if it's a culture? I know, Emma, you had something on that for sure. Do we really agree?
Yes,
that
it's a difference. It's
Yeah,
definitely a difference.
Yeah, absolutely not. Not at all. I think the point
Bro.
she made about I think the point she made about capitalism was maybe spot on, because this is the thing that kind of irked me, like what I was pointing out earlier. So you could get naked and twerk down the street in a parade, and that's cultural. But if a Black American woman get naked and start twerking, her ass just a degenerate whore. My nigga, no. If you have an issue with twerking in these circumstances, you need to have the same issue with twerking universally. Now, what tend to happen and what people think I'd be like hyper fixated on, but I'm really not, is just people tolerate so much fucking disrespect that they don't see what I'm looking at. What tends to happen is people will take us and say, okay, we see y'all on TV all the time. We see you in these positions all the time. And we're going to hold you to this unrealistic expectation of humanity. And then make all these derogatory prescriptions as far as who we are, what we got going on, while simultaneously excusing those activities and differences in somebody else. The lady brought up belly dancing, what she say, African fertility, and all. Essentially, it was women gyrating their waist, hips, and potentially they if they have an ass, they ass and they titties. But when Black American women do it, somehow it's the bane of all existence, and these women just whores. When other women do it, it's just cultural. Like playing this, we can excuse something based off. I'm not going for that shit. We be tolerating a whole lot of disrespect strictly based off, and that's why I hate Pan-Africanism so much. Because it, in my opinion, right, the way I view it, Pan-Africanism ran around the world telling people we have no culture. So when they look at us, they then start to say that's not cultural. That's just these people being ratchet. That's not this. And then you mix Pan-Africanism in with capitalism and exploitation, because I do agree that that is exploitation. For example, if I went to the village in Africa where they doing the fertility dance, right? And I start just filming these women in the exploitative nature, or filming them with their titties out in the grocery store. Because I watched a video in Africa where the women of a tribe went into a grocery store and they didn't have no shirt on, just bare titties, right? That was cultural. If women in America would have got together and did that shit, they would have been the biggest whores that have ever existed. For women in France to protest with no shirt on all day. I've yet to see a group of black women walk around with no shirt, just nipples hanging out everywhere all day. But yet somehow everybody fixates themselves to say black American women are the problem and all this other shit. If it ain't all the women doing this shit, I'll be damned if I sit around and let a motherfucker point at my people specifically and try and pigeonhole them and just keep picking and beating on them. I'm coming with all the smoke all the time, forever, for anyone that tends to highlight another culture and talk shit to mine. I don't give a fuck if you're from this culture or outside of it. I got all the smoke for you. That's my general stance on all this shit. I'm so sick of it. Because and it'd be us tolerating that shit. And again, it's back to fucking Pan-Africanism. Because the Pan-Africans ran around telling people we have no culture, no language, no people, no history. And now everybody's saying that same shit to us. The Pan-Africans, they got to reciting the damn same thing as the fucking white supremacists. A lot of this shit that people be saying at us is white supremacist rhetoric coming back at us from these other people, and they heard that shit recited through Pan-Africans, and that shit spread through them. And they all say, oh, well, we black now, we can do this. But when you're talking about black Americans, you specifically speaking about us. But with everything else, you're not really talking about your group. Because if I isolate your community, you salty. But you felt comfortable saying that slick shit about my community. No, so you're separating in that moment. If when I'm talking about your community, you're offended, and you was just saying the same thing about mine, that's a whole problem for me. And
Marcus, what? Oh, go ahead, Trent.
No, only because Pearl had a opposing opinion. Go ahead, Pearl. Then we're gonna jump right back to you, True.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say that it's one thing if, and again, I definitely agree with the teacher that a lot of interpretations of our cultural expressions have been exploited. And even if you are not African American, your culture has been exploited as well. And sometimes we get a bad habit of, as long as they are proclaiming that to be our culture, we grab onto it, whether it's positive or negative. In terms of the dancing, we got to really look at it for what it is. Like, M. White, you hitting on some great ass points, but there is a clear cultural difference between someone that is dancing for fertility, religion, and then somebody that is dancing regardless of their culture and who they are. Skin folk, kinfolk, it doesn't matter. Whoever it is, it's a difference between you dancing for a cultural purpose of like fertility, rainmaking, etc., and then you just being, like that teacher was saying, exploited, and you're dancing for the male gaze, as the young lady so eloquently put it, as well as hypersexuality. That has nothing to do with our religion. That has nothing to do with positivity. That has nothing to do with the true arts of femininity. You just being nasty, and you just being reckless. And I get it. Like, you can express yourself as much as you want. And I'm serious about the culture too, but distasteful, like you're saying, is distasteful. But if it's not representative of the culture, we can't just say just because black women are doing it, it's cool. Because it's not. We know when they twerking on a cod, that's not for fertility. That's what is that? That's hypersexuality. That has nothing to do with our culture. There's damn near like a disconnect, because why? It's an unsavory behavior. And you know why it's unsavory? Because you would knock your daughter head between the washing machine and the dryer if you caught her doing it. So I get it. But I don't feel like it's acceptable neither. There's a difference. But again, I agree with your points as well. I land.
Yeah, so
No, Marcus made valid points. What I was gonna ask is, where would you say, because Pearl did too, so I don't want to overshadow that at all. I think you articulated it great. I would ask, what would be the stage? because like I respect Marcus' position on the community and protecting our image, especially when it comes to people trying to crucify it, you know, in the worst of ways. But I would say, where's our stage? Mainly because when I think about, let's say maybe a Greek woman or a Spanish woman or a Middle Eastern woman, and she is acting in a manner of showcasing a dance, it typically belongs somewhere. Like I don't typically see that happen in the middle of Target or anywhere like that. So where would you say our stage is, Mark?
A dirt road with no shoes.
Right. So I think that yeah. So the point about inappropriate behavior, I can't negate that some things are inappropriate, right? That's really not my point. So I'm not arguing to allow people to be able to twerk in Target. They should not be in Target twerking and doing all of that shit. My point is more so we're isolating the twerking in Target, but really the conversation is encompassing of the women in general. It's not just that one woman you saw twerking at Target. It's just encompassing. When you see this group of women, this is how a general group of people who do what I'm accusing tend to just hyper isolate Black American women and do this. They put them in this ball, and then it's just accusatory tone, accusatory comment consistently, right? And then they'll excuse anything else. Like I think they made the example like obviously I didn't agree with the Meg Thee Stallion stuff, right? But if we say a woman who from another culture was just dating, who may have slept with the same amount of men, she a bad example. But I'm saying a woman that was sleeping with multiple. That's why I was trying to get to the spectrum conversation. Because if we're gonna say that Meg Thee Stallion is the biggest whore or whatever, maybe due to the timeline and the way she did and the line and all that stuff, okay, I got you. But remove her from it and just use maybe a woman that slept with 20 men, and then look at maybe a white woman that slept with 20 men in college. We don't approach them and talk shit about them the same way, is what I'm saying. We don't try and beat those women down the way we try. That I don't engage in this shit, but the way people try and beat Black American women specifically down. Like it's other coaches that have whole like for fertility. I just seen something about like Ikene, a great festival in Nigeria going on. Is we just gonna say, oh, it's just the cultural stuff they got going on, so we just need to leave that alone. And if somebody do that shit in America, they the only ones to be held hostage and held accountable to that. That's my point. I'm sick of people coming up and just constantly trying to pick at us for whatever reason, especially because we don't be thinking about their ass. And they got other shit going on within their little community, but they somehow find it to come point the finger. And it's not a collaborative. I just think, you know, it's always framed as a way to try and get a notch off. And I be peeping that slick shit. And I'm not for none of it. And I'm full crash out when it comes to that shit. As y'all already fucking know. Like that's
and I'm in agreement with
Yes, Ron.
I'm in agreement with Marcus on that. So yeah, so we try to act like those fertility dances are in some kind of church or something like that. No, that's not they version of Target. They Target is a goddamn dirt road with trees. It's a supermarket that they drive by. It's a dirt road, and they put goddamn fruits in the They doing it in the same exact context. This is that they're not as, you know, with the fertility dancer, just to be hyperbolic in that. It's just they not as a civilized place wherever that dancing is done at. To act as if twerking for fertility is not hypersexual. That's literally a dance to show some man, not her man, is to show a man that she got the hips to provide sexuality, so she is you know, she could please him in the bedroom, because her shaking her hips had nothing to do with fertility whatsoever. A woman that cannot shake her hips can still be just as fertile as the one that. So it's just not fair.
Can I just interject with that? Because I think it's hard for us to be even to look at that, because we live in America. It's completely different. There are certain, we have, like you, I think Marcus said something about in France, you know, women out there with their shirts off. Like even in certain countries, you got women walking around breastfeeding kids out in the public, because that's culturally, like, that's been instilled in them. So we have to honestly like take that into consideration. Like America, we're totally different. We take a little bit from everywhere and we try to make it our own. But it's different when you're moving your hips in certain areas, certain dances, than when you're bent over doing TikToks with your pussy lips popping out, twerking. That's a whole different. That's a whole different.
It's not even. It's not even the. It's not even a dance. And I'll say this part. At least my perspective.
Interjection. So can I get back to it or?
Oh, go for it.
She asked me to interject, and I just, you know.
Sorry, I appreciate it. Sorry.
The issue with that is that we try to act as if their vagina is not being on display when they doing the same exact dance moves for the same exact reason, to show some man that they can have sex. It doesn't actually explain that they are more fertile than the other woman because you can move your hips. So it is still hypersexuality. If you have an issue with hypersexuality and ass shaking, it should be all across the board, because it doesn't matter where hoe is, right? We disagree with a woman being a hoe across the board. We don't change our idea of what a hoe is just because we went to Europe. So you can't have a different idea of what showing your vagina is to a random man to have sex. Now, all of a sudden, well, that ain't hypersexual. That's just her culture. No. Absolutely not. I'm with Marcus. Stop trying to make us the only ones that are the bad ones.
My problem with what you said.
Leave in 10 minutes, goddammit. Shit.
My problem with what you said, Sharon, and I think this is where we gotta really hold men accountable for what we say, because I don't think a lot of people are smart enough to decipher what we're saying. I get it, but we are known too much for the hypersexualization and the misappropriation of things that are supposed to be culture and maybe not received negatively. When you think about a Hawaiian woman, you don't typically think about her huluing, you know, or shaking her hips in a grass skirt. That's not typically what I believe most people would think. I'm assuming.
I don't know about that one.
You're saying that when you think about a Hawaiian woman, the first thing that populates in your mind is her at a luau?
A luau, maybe?
That maybe. My point is that typically when we go to culture, we're gonna involve other cultures. We got to be honest. When you think about your Asian women, your white women, and different cultural people, the representation of what they have typically has other components. It's not just sexual. When we talk about us, for whatever freaking reason, we are very much known for the sexual stuff, whether it's the women's working, whether it's the men, showcasing certain aspects. That's, in my opinion, is the issue. We want to tackle our image and we want to maybe polish it. If you want to be received as respectable and all of those things, don't try to water it down and be like, oh, well, other people do it too. Other people do a whole lot of stuff. I think we're known too much for the bad stuff in that aspect. That's my only issue with that, is that we need to have more balance.
So true. To your point, I would agree as far as the perception of image that's spewed to the masses, right, globally, could be extremely negative in that way. Again, that's not when I'm saying that's white supremacy, that's what I mean. If they're in control of what their targeted push is, that's not us saying, hey, y'all, look at these 5 women shaking their ass all day. That's not me, you, and Sharon. That's a conglomerate, a corporation that's not run by me doing that shit or you doing that shit. So again, that falls back to the global narrative, a global control of that shit. And when you was talking about, like, so if I'm gonna give you a scenario, right, and you tell me which culture this is and why we don't think of this if you don't get it. A group of men create a club where they grape women. They start fake sending pictures to the girls under 16 that they're boys in their class or boys their age. Those girls exchange nudes with them. Then the men trick them and tell them, hey, we're not actually this guy, and we're going to expose your nudes if you don't allow grown men to come and sleep with you. And in order to get into this group, the men have to either send pictures of their wives or their young daughters in order to get access to the group. And it's over 150,000 men in the group. What culture is that?
I would say they're Caucasian of some persuasion.
They're Asian.
White of some persuasion. Are they?
Yeah. Okay. If I say there's an island where a group of men kidnap children and have sex with them, and then sometimes delete the people on that island.
White people.
And you say what?
White people.
Now, we don't view their general image as just that though.
Fact.
So
But
why is that our general image? And why would we as Black people uphold that shit and be like, yeah, this is who we are. We need to do better as a community. When the main people who be saying it, they come from good families a lot of times. They have kids that they take care of. They be active fathers. They do all of this shit. The men that they be in community with do this shit. We have a code of ethics of people we shun who don't take care of their kids, but yet we'll turn around and say, yeah, we don't got no code of ethics. We don't got no community. We terrible fathers. We got the worst women alive. But there are stats for things. There's a stat for the number one paternity fraud. There's a stat for sexuality amongst women. America wasn't the highest. These things exist, but how is it that we are the spokespeople of this shit? I did the research on all this shit to counter the narratives, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. The main people pointing our finger. If you go look at they dirty life, that's why I always interject with the other people. If y'all notice, I ain't been to every country that come on this damn panel, but every time they say some slick shit about us, I go and research they people. So when they bring their ass up here and point their finger, that's why I say, oh, because the old girl said something about slavery last week. You know what I did? I got off the panel and I looked her damn country up. That's how I found out about the Dutch side is full-fledged prostitution, and the French side isn't the same, but they have something a little similar. I go look these people up. So you want to point at us? Let's point at you. This is my point. That's my whole my general.
You're absolutely right, Marcus.
Time is from what culture?
You're absolutely right. My issue is that, to answer your question, the delineation is amongst us. I don't have to worry about so much the other people. I think amongst us, we separate. When you talk about a group of us, we can identify that's some ratchet crap, that's more polished and more presentable. We do this. That ain't other people. So if inside the group we're doing it, that speaks to the point that we don't got enough balance. Because amongst us, I look like you, you look like me, but we go around a certain group of people, people saying, oh, you're not like us. That whole song between Drake and Kendrick was big because people trying to delineate amongst the culture. That's the issue. So if we gonna have that standard, we need to go ahead and say, okay, cool. Well, this is just what we know for, and it's cool, and not get hypersensitive. The problem is that we don't got enough balance, in my opinion. We should be known more for the articulation of our ability to, hold ourselves to a certain standard. We shouldn't have delineating terminology like you different, or you a weirdo, or you a, what do we call it? A goofy or whatever. We do that. That's my issue. And I'll land.
Hey, true. So you believe that the twerking is degenerate?
I believe that twerking is degenerate outside of where you should be twerking. Yeah. Like, why are you in Target twerking? That's weird.
And so you saying when you randomly go in Targets, you randomly see Black people twerking in there?
What I'm saying is that when I walk into a Target, I don't expect to see that. And if I do see it, it's out of what I would believe I'm trying to experience for a shopping experience.
But it's also out of the norm, correct, to see just Black women twerking in Target?
Anybody, but yes, anybody, yeah.
So now, all right, so now we got that part, right? So that's why the reference is so, it feels like it's disrespectful, because we do not, anytime I walked in Target, I never see just random Black women just, oh shit, a Drake song playing, and they bend over and start twerking. I don't see that in my experience, and I don't hear other people saying that's a part of their experience.
I see it
now. The fertility, you see it, Willie? The fertility dancing. Do you look at that as degenerate behavior as well? Because those women are barefoot and they got their vagina out. We don't even know if they washed their ass for the day, but they out there.
So this is over. It's the intent behind.
I just want to know if that's degenerate. I just want to know if it's degenerate so we could.
No, I don't believe that degeneracy, because we know what the intent behind a fertility dance is, correct? Like once we understand that's what it is, it's cool. The intent behind twerking is attention.
It's the same. It's the same.
So
fertility dancing and twerking is the same.
So that's why I asked where the stage was. That's why I asked where's the stage.
Both the stages are outside in the world. Both of them in the same stage.
So I have a question. Let me ask you this then. Would you think that it would be, let's say, assume you're offended, right? Let's assume you're offended. So like, that's the premise. You see a girl twerking in a elementary school full of kids, and then you see a girl twerking outside in the parking lot surrounded by adults. Which one would be more offensive to you? And this is, mind you, this is under the assumption that you're offended by it.
I am offended, right? I'm offended about twerking.
Yes.
Period. Okay. You said for adults or around adults?
So around the like, you know, as a circle of people, like
around, they just
and she's twerking in that circle, and then a girl who's twerking in the classroom.
I'd be more upset at them around the adults.
You would be more offended. Twerking in front of adults than you would a child. I mean, a class full of children.
Yes, if because we talking about children as a young kid dancing in school versus
like a school teacher twerking in class in front of her students.
School. All right, so a school teacher twerking in class versus a school teacher dancing outside around other adults.
Yes,
that would change my answer. I wouldn't want a teacher dancing, twerking in front of children at school.
So you okay? I understand. That's logical. Do you understand that that's how the majority of the world looks at it? It's so the only people who accept twerking in mass are us because it's part of our culture now. It's been made part of that baddie shit we were talking about. It's something that we've ingrained. Excuse me, not ingrained, but included in it. The issue is we're not the only people. We're not the only people assessing us.
But where did this twerking come from? So what I'm saying is that
Luke videos. I bet.
No, so that's the issue. It did not come from there, right? This whole gyrating your midsection.
No, I know that, but I'm saying to the masses, that's where it came from. Most people who twerk don't know where twerking came from.
But that's the issue. Nobody look at these other cultures of fertility and carnival and all these other scenarios where it's black people gyrating their hips has degenerate behavior. They only want to focus it when it comes to, I guess, a sexy red because she's making currency out of this goddamn twerking now.
But people don't.
It only comes an issue when we start. It only comes an issue, it seems like, when Black Americans start making money off of the culture and somebody else is not making money off the culture. We have an issue with it.
So
that's the issue that I have.
What I believe is more so is that most people have the knowledge of where twerking comes from. You, me, Mont, and White have. Most people don't, right? So we would be the minority. So the majority of people view twerking the way that we just described it. And again, it's because they don't understand the value. But like I said earlier, the cultural aspects do not matter to people that it does not matter to. The people who
so Willie, with that point, right? The issue with that point is that a lot of people that do know where it comes from is the one that is pushing out the negative narrative instead of correcting the narrative. Like, so me, you, Mr. White, and we gotta be the ones that correct and say, no, it's not degenerate behavior, unless the whole system we're gonna have to say is degenerate behavior, not just our small new focal point of this section of this style of dance.
How you guys doing?
But what I also don't want is, just to be clear, there's a restaurant in Dallas called True Kitchen that black people have fucking ruined. What I don't like about going to eat there is always a bitch trying to twerk next to my table, and they'll be standing on booths twerking and shit. That's the stuff that we're talking about. And what we don't realize is that's the stuff that gets pushed on social media. That's what gets clipped, and that's what the people who want to make money off of us see. And then when they can't, they use it against us because they can't monetize it. So I agree with your point wholeheartedly. The thing is, like our parents both, I know your parents told you this. There is a time and place for everything.
And you was at the place and time for shaking your ass in front of a restaurant. Go to a restaurant that is not playing music.
Hold
on. Do not have that culture within the restaurant. If I go to a certain restaurant, I'm expecting certain cultures. So if I go to a goddamn spot where it got loud music and I can't talk to my person that the music is more important than the actual ambiance of having a conversation, I'm not going to be surprised if I get a little booty juice on my goddamn chicken wings. I'm like, oh, this is what it is.
let's
This
say
is where I went
let's
to.
say I concede that point, right?
Booty, rocking everywhere.
You do know what that means is right. That just goes to show that the place that this is happening is in the black community. It's not white restaurants. The restaurants that are accepting this are black restaurants that are accepting.
You haven't been to no, just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that it's not happening, because there's plenty of day restaurants, it's plenty of day situations that they understand that it's only them and they are doing that degenerate behavior in day culture. So when they go to that kind of restaurant, they expect that. When they go to a suit and tie restaurant, they expect the suit and tie experience.
When have white people in mass twerking or just
We
doing
can't hear you, Marcus, by the way. Go ahead, Willie. I'm sorry.
When have you if you could provide me with, even if it's anecdotal, videos, clips of white people or Asian people, hell, I even give you Mexicans because them motherfuckers love to dance. Like, you've been to a quinceañera, that's fire. Like, or a Mexican restaurant where they're dancing like this. Because that's what I'd want to see. Because I've been all around the world in 81 countries, experienced every culture you can imagine. I don't see this type of behavior, even in countries where twerking is like part of the culture. I only see it with black restaurants in America or in clubs.
I gotta say something because I know when somebody said this, Marcos get mad about it. Let me come.
Let me just answer.
Hold on. Let Ikene roll. He
did ask me a question.
Don't forget your point. Just don't hold your point.
Just real quick. It's called the Nautical Mile in Long Island.
Let me put it this way, right?
Back chat
because in every Africa country is not the same. Let's say Nigeria, right? If you come to Nigeria, we have over 200 and something tribes. And what one tribe does might alienate the other tribe. They're not the same. So if you say that Africa, that talking is allowed in Africa, no, that's not true. Because there are communities in Africa you can talk. You can't talk at all because it's not their culture. So different people accept different food and different things. But in the same Africa, in communities where they do stuff like that, right? Just like Willie said and True said, there are places and time for certain things. And for the people that do that, they don't do it in general public. What they do is that, like you guys call it fertility, right? It's not actually fertility itself. What it is this. When women do that, they do that to tell the men, not for sexual reason, but for birth, which is where the fertility comes in. But generally, it's not like that. It's just like a woman that has a small breast in Africa versus a woman that have big breast. For a small breast, they take it like she can't really breastfeed. But for a bigger breast, they see that she can breastfeed more. And if you
That's
come
stupid.
and you,
That's not true, is it?
But I mean, it's stupid because that kind of goes to a lot of their cultures over there, right? They do a lot of stupid things over there, right? And that's just what it is. Just like this whole idea of
bro, let me finish talking, okay? Let me finish talking. You're gonna talk, okay? Just let me land, okay? Let me
Do you
land.
literally think the bigger the
I'll
breast?
give you the microphone.
So the problem is you over here acting like you some authority about what we can say is disrespectful to our culture. You cannot give us no.
I'm not here to talk about culture. I'm not talking about culture.
Hold on. We can't hear both of y'all.
You gotta let me finish.
Go ahead and
brother, so you can see where I'm heading.
Get it off. Let him finish up.
So I think, like, if you go to South Africa, right, that's where you see a lot of stuff like that happen a lot, because South Africa is more like the African side that, they can come in the street and not wear bra at all. Their breast is just right there. Then if you go to the Fulani outside, like Senegal, the ones that are not Muslims, right? Yes, they do the same thing like South Africa. But that is a very small aspect of Africa. But generally, even in those countries, just like Willie said, if you come out just in the middle of the street or in a supermarket, and start shaking your body. They will take you like you're out of your goddamn mind. They'll think you're crazy. I don't think that we should say that is a bad thing at all. I would like my wife to do that for me, but not to come out in front of a supermarket like Target and begin to shake her body. No, come on, that's very disrespectful. I wouldn't even like my daughter do that. So if we are men, and another thing that you guys got to understand, the criticism about that is not generally coming from Africans. It's actually coming from African Americans, and you got to
It's not.
understand that. I'm coming, please. You're gonna have your time, because I have a lot of African American friends and family. Friends and family. I didn't just say friends, both friends and family. And I got to say, I've heard them said it. There are things that I have never criticized. I see them criticize. And the reason why I understand their criticism is because African Americans are not the same. African Americans come from different parts of Africa and different tribes. And some of them believe that they come here, they Native America. You see what I'm saying? Some believe that they are Native
No.
America. Some believe that they're from Africa. But they also came with that tradition. That is why here in African American community, the argument is in the community because of where your genetics come from. And some African Americans come from tribes in Africa where things like that are tolerated. So it can still come down from your genotype. You see what I'm saying?
No.
Okay.
And it's,
So I
it's,
rest
it's
my case.
nonsense that it's nonsense that you, and this is why this is the problem when we act like because you have the same skin color that you are allowed to have this conversation. For you to keep on referencing some goddamn twerking and Target like that is the normal thing in America is wild and disrespectful. It's disrespectful. We don't come up here and say, hey, at least we ain't shitting in the street. That's what y'all do. Y'all go up to Papa squat in the middle of the damn street. We
Nobody
don't
said
say
that is
nothing about
okay.
that. We leave
Nobody
it
said that
alone.
is
We say,
okay.
hey, that's what's going on over there. Now you don't want to have the same respect that you asked me, right? I be quiet. You gave me a great point and said, hey, let me finish. I fell back. Trey corrected me, said, Sharon, fall back. Except that you and your culture over there, whatever country that is, they take shits in the street. It is what it is. Y'all walk barefoot. It is what it is. Y'all don't have no running goddamn water. Take that truth too. Take the truth that y'all don't have the IQ like we have. Take that. Take the truth that we ain't following your culture. You want to follow ours. Take that. That's the truth. We ain't out here trying to be like goddamn Princess Zamunda. Sorry, we ain't doing it. You follow us. We don't follow you. So stay in line and be in place where you're supposed to be. Behind the leader. Because y'all are not that. Take control of your own country. The money under your own feet, get control of that first. Before you come over here trying to tell us what to do. That's lost your damn mind.
Let me say this to you. Okay? I'm glad you spoke your mind and you spoke it really good. When you see people in America, right? And I know I've said this before. Some of them are far richer than you. You got to know that. Some of them are far educated than you, and they are far ahead of you. You're in America doesn't mean that you're rich. You might be in America as broke as a motherfucker. It's just what it is. If you have the kind of
The
money I
problem
have in
is you
my
didn't
bank,
address anything
excuse
that
me,
I
let me
said.
finish talking. If you
No,
have the
you
kind
gotta
of money
address
that
what I said.
some Africans are
Address what
far richer
I
than you,
said.
they're richer than you in America and they're richer than you in Africa.
Address
You
what
just got
I
to know
said.
that.
We're
Do you
not talking about
accept?
who make
Do
more
you
money.
accept that? Do you accept that?
Address what I
So,
said.
and I'm
Address it.
addressing what I said. Can you let me talk? I
Address
gave
it.
you
You're
a
shit in the street.
respect,
That man
right?
address it.
Hold on.
I will give you a
He's not
respect, right?
addressing anything I'm saying.
So some Africans are richer than you in America and they're richer than you
It's
in
somebody in the
Africa,
Philippines that
Hold
got
on.
and
more
you
money
are
than you.
nothing
It
to
sounded real
them.
bad. We can't get
But
through with the static.
the thing that I'm trying to say is this, right? People have different cultures. I respect everybody's culture. And anybody that disrespect anybody's culture is not true to himself. But there are time and place for everything.
All
Just
right,
like
well,
the
this ain't
lady
the time and
said.
place for you to disrespect our culture.
And the one thing I'm never going to
Go
do
to your
is
African
to,
panel and do it.
excuse me, the one thing that I'm not going to do is to disrespect a culture where my daughter
You
is
doing it. I'm telling
half,
you that you're doing it.
half of it. And I am part of it, even if I like it
Are
or
you going
not.
to accept the fact
I
that
am.
you are disrespecting the culture? I'm telling
What
you
did
that
I
you are
say? What did
disrespecting
I?
our
What
culture.
did I say? What did I say that disrespect your culture?
This
Is
whole
it just because of
conversation,
my male?
this
Okay,
conversation,
my male
this
presence here
conversation.
is disrespectful to your culture.
This is what happens when
Excuse,
you
you
don't
haven't
address.
answered
This is
my
why I was.
question. My
The
male
problem
presence
is you're
here
not.
disrespects your culture.
The problem is you're not addressing the things that I'm saying. That's disrespectful, right? That's number two. We came in this conversation talking about how your culture is
Do you know that
disrespecting us by
do you
trying
know
to
that half
isolate
of the people
and
in the, do you
goddamn
know that
Target
about
twerking. That
three
is
to four people in this
disrespectful.
Hey,
in this
listen.
excuse
Wait,
me,
hold
do
on,
you know
y'all.
that
Wait,
3 to 4 people
hold
in
on,
this
hold
panel
on.
are not part
I
of your
don't mind.
culture?
Listen,
You know
hold on a
that?
second. Hold up. I don't mind y'all having it back and forth. That's fine. But just talk one at a time. Because if once you both start talking, the audience cannot hear anyone.
I wanted to throw something in there too. Pause. Like because we've been looking at Africans twerking like from the perspective of a fertility dance. I just want to let y'all know, excuse my French, but like them bitches be twerking like on some regular shit. Like I don't know if y'all ever seen like African people dance. They shit is very sexual in general. All the ampiano and all that type of shit. They be throwing that ass like in regular shit. They be having videos of the little girls in their school clothes. Like they be like getting out of school and they be in circles and they be fucking throwing that ass. They be twerking all that type of shit. So I don't want to just act like American black women are the only ones who twerk for fun and all that stuff. They be doing that shit over there too. And y'all,
Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta drop. This nigga just put 3 albums out, so I gotta get started. It was
Uncle Waffles, like that's a big culture, all that type of stuff. So
Big guy, I don't think you're lying at all. I agree with you on the what do they call him, the South African thing, but mostly what they're doing is that to me, I believe that their talking is not really what I don't really like. It's just their bare breast, like the way they don't even have nothing on, you know, even in front of kids, and it's their culture. I respect their culture. You see what I'm saying? I respect their culture, but in cultures, there are disagreements that I do have in cultures.
Question.
What?
When they doing the fertility dances, are younger children there ever?
I don't think South Africa does fertility dancing. I've not seen. I know that they did the foot stepping, and
First
then
off,
yeah.
Ikene, which culture were you just pertaining to just now? Were you talking about African culture? What
No,
culture were you
no,
pertaining to just now when you
no.
just
I said
referring to?
Senegal does the talking. That I know they
Okay.
do it in Senegal.
Okay.
Yeah, but what's his name? South Africa does this foot stamping. You know,
So
they take their legs and then they stamp like boom, and then they do their hands like this. You remember what I'm saying? You understand what I'm
so
saying?
are,
Like they raise
so
their legs up and then they stamp. They raise
okay.
their
So are
leg
you
and then they
saying?
stamp.
So do they do fertility dancing in Africa? In
Some
some
cultures in Africa
country?
does that. Yeah,
Okay, it's a
yes, they
country
do.
that does it.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. And you know about this country, correct?
of course. So
Okay,
I
and
don't know
in
what
that country that do
the
this,
things you
and
said.
in
I
that
don't know where you
country,
what. Go ahead.
and in that country that do this dancing, do sometimes it be children around?
Okay. In the countries that do it, yes, some of the countries do
Wow.
have children
Don't
around.
let them escape
And I
that. Come
did,
on,
and I
answer the
did.
question.
Let me ask you something. I can't really see your name very well. Let me ask you something. Is there anywhere in my comments that I said there is nothing like that in Africa? Did I ever say that?
the problem is that you are being disrespectful and trying to act like now you can excuse like, oh, that doesn't happen with the country I'm talking about. We are talking about twerking and how it's being represented. So now when we start talking about actually a very direct question, when it shows that it has whatever nation that is in the African culture that they're twerking and younger people are around, you dodge the question. All of a sudden.
The problem is that you weren't listening to what I was saying because it seemed like you listened to somebody else. I didn't say all these things that
So
you
did you
said.
answer my question? So all right, so let's answer my question.
Your question is vague. You saying something I didn't say. What the hell is that?
I'm asking you a question, so I want
No,
you
you
to
don't ask me a question after accusing me of saying something I didn't say.
It's about you not answering a question. That's what this
is.
Okay,
what question have I been asked here that I didn't answer? What question have I been asked?
When they are twerking in whatever African nation or country that they are doing this twerking, are there young people there?
And what did I say?
You didn't say anything towards that question.
Because you weren't listening.
He said yes, sometimes it happens.
I said yes, you weren't listening.
He said yes, sometimes.
Well, maybe it's your goddamn accent.
No, because your goddamn foolish ears doesn't have a single hole in it. You weren't listening, man.
I can't understand your ass.
No, you fucking not listening. That's the problem with you. You just misquoting me.
No, I can't understand your ass. Clean up
your because accent. Your fucking eyes don't listen. You don't have a fucking hole in your ears.
Why you don't got no goddamn Hutu?
Why you fucking misquoting me for something I didn't even say? I started talking, you started attacking me right away like I said anything. I didn't even say nothing.
Where's your Hutu? Put your damn Hutu
motherfucking broke ass motherfucker trying to tell me that I'm broke.
I didn't say
and
that.
I keep telling you that most Africans are richer than you in America. I'm richer than you in Africa because you're broke motherfucker. Nonsense.
And there we go. And that's the real reason.
Oh, don't misquote me, man.
I'm glad that it came
because
out.
I've been confused for the past 10 minutes. What is this guy talking about? I was confused for 10 minutes.
Well, that's because.
And now you want to say no? Is my accent? You looking for excuses instead of to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I misquote you." You can't bring your fucking ass down to say I'm sorry. Why can't you bring your fucking ass ego down and say I'm sorry? Why can't you do that?
How about this? We look up the IQ level.
I've respected you. Every time you and I have been in this pan, I've always respected you. But what the hell is wrong with you to attack me like this tonight? I don't even know you. I don't even know you, man.
What that mean? I don't need to know you to know
because
that
I came to this panel to talk, and you think you motherfucker don't even have anything is coming to challenge me.
We look up. How about
I don't even know why I'm talking to this broadcast idiot.
That in your own nation, you can't protect your own land. They got 5 white people kicked you out your own goddamn land. 5 white people. Shut your
let that fucking white man step his foot in Nigeria, and he's gonna go missing. Let that fucking ass white man come to Nigeria and take any goddamn thing, and he's gonna go missing.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and close out.
Let that fucking white man come to Nigeria, and his ass is gonna go missing.
Didn't they just drop some bombs?
Have you ever seen a white man in Nigeria? Let me ask you. Have you seen a white man in Nigeria?
Didn't they just drop some?
Have you seen a white man in Nigeria come and take any shit?
Hey, yo, wait, time out. It's about to close out.
The new song is going to be B.O.N.
Hold up.
Bombs over Nigeria.
Wait, please. We're about to close out. Please. And thank you.
All right.
Please and thank you.
We'll go ahead and close out. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Appreciate the panel. Appreciate all the perspectives. For the people that won in the comments, thank you as well. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Much love over here. We'll catch you on the next one.